Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown, and welcome to Caitlin Clark's crossover, which is going to start in about, looks like 7 minutes. And we got guests tonight, Adrian Ross, Robin Lundberg, and Da Pope B. Frank. They should all be here within the next 7 minutes. So let me know if you're in the audience, and let me go to the comments here. Got to get rid of all this stuff on my thing. Go to comments. Anyways, welcome everybody. If you got any questions that you want to suggest, let me know. I'll try to squeeze them in. I only have about 300 questions written. Probably only going to get to 5 or 6. Nobody knows. Hello, everybody. And the live show should go at least 8:30. Yesterday, last week went to 9 because Rudy and I were talking. And if you can see in the background here, I got a Caitlin Clark Delusional CC22 t-shirt that just came in. I'm an official member now. So, anyways. How you doing, Joseph? Let me make sure my mic is close enough. You can hear me okay, right? Mic's in there. That's plugged in. Everything's set. Anyways, so I'm excited about this show. It's our second show, and we got some great guests today. And like I said, they all should all be here in a couple minutes. If you got any questions, waiting for your guests to show up. Yeah, I told them they can sign in between 5:55 and 6. The show starts at 6, so I gave them some 5-minute leeway. And we're all ready. Adrian Ross is returning, Robin Lundberg, and also Da Pope B. Frank. So, welcome everybody. Hello, Robin.
What's up? What's up?
How are you? Thank you very much for joining our show.
No problem.
You're on the air. The other two guests will be here any second. I have a question on your resume. I looked it up on Wikipedia. Is all of that current? Can I read it, or some of it's not up to date?
I don't know my Wikipedia page offhand.
I didn't think so.
The coolest thing about Wikipedia for me is if you go to look up Lusby, Maryland on Wikipedia.
Lusby, Maryland?
Lusby, Maryland. Lusby, Maryland.
I have to open up a new tab. Hang on.
Yeah. And then go to notable people from Lusby, Maryland.
Is it a small town?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the only person. That's the joke. I didn't know it until one of my buddies pointed it out to me.
How do I spell it?
Lusby.
Lusby, Maryland.
Yeah.
You're famous from there. All right.
Notable people.
Notable people. I'm just on Lusby, Maryland right now. Just say notable people. Robin Lundberg, 1981, American sports broadcaster.
There you go.
You're the only famous person. I never heard of Lusby, Maryland, and I'm in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Let me make sure.
I lived in Langhorne, Pennsylvania till I was 12.
Langhorne. What? That's
Bucks County.
Yeah, that's like 45 minutes north of Philly or so.
Yeah, about
an hour maybe.
Yeah. But you know where Sesame Place is? It's right there.
It's up 309 and stuff at the Turnpike.
Okay.
Well, tell me what I should take out here, because you're live, but there's not that many people listening right now. So
yeah,
just for fun. It says here that you are host of Sports Illustrated Daily Videos, and you have your own CBS Sports radio show on Sirius. Is that still true?
Those are all past tense.
Okay.
I was the senior host at Sports Illustrated of Daily Video, and I did have the Robin Lundberg Show was a nationally syndicated show on CBS Sports Radio. The current bio would be, I run Women's Fast Break on SI, covering all women's basketball, the Robin Lundberg Show on YouTube, and am a host for Sirius XM as well.
I'll let you do that then. It's too much for me to remember. If I was right in front of me to read on Wikipedia, it'd be much easier. I had a feeling it wasn't up to date.
No, that would be up to date like, a year ago. But
Okay. Yeah, I know that people sometimes update them for you. Sometimes you update them, and sometimes you don't even know what's on your own thing.
yeah, I've never updated it myself.
Have you seen? You must have seen the sports reporters before, right?
Yeah.
That's all we're doing here tonight is the sports reporters, except it's just slightly different. And so that was my favorite show for 30 years. It's my favorite sports show. And I was disappointed that they canceled it. And I was also more disappointed, and maybe you have some inside knowledge. They never gave us a reason why they were canceling it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look, the whole network did a big shift in the way that they approach things, and it's hard to tell because even some of the institutions from when I was coming up are not that big now or are on their way out. Like I was an intern on Around the Horn, and that show's been around the longest, but I think it's coming to an end now too. So
yeah, in the summer they said it was going to be an end, right?
Yeah. So I think just so much of their whole programming initiative has changed. The way they monetize things has changed. I couldn't tell you. I don't have any insight into it.
Okay. Hello, Adrian. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mark? Hello, Robin.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Your friend DePope Frank is our third guest, and I'm assuming he's going to be here any second. I gave him a link. He was upset he wasn't on last week because he was really we already had 3 people. So anyways, I'm going to try to do it on Thursdays too. If people really get into it, a lot of people. I talked to Rosalina Lee, and she's interested now, so that's good. And we got AK Nation was out last week, and Rudy, who I accidentally called Woody, I guess, last week. Rudy from Come On Now podcast. And I've been trying to reach out to Ben Daniels podcast, and he was in the audience last week. And their emails, I don't know, their business emails, they don't check. And Chicks Dig Scar podcast, I don't know his name, but people have been asking for him. And Fly Hippie, I emailed him, and I don't know what's going on. So is DePope here? No, he's not here. I'll play our intro. That Ken Swift from X, everybody knows who he is. He made this as a favor. He just liked our show, and he made this. And I guess I'll play it. Where is it? Let's see. Where did I put it? White video. Oh, here. Wow. Wait a minute. I don't know why I have. Wait, I have it already. Where do I have it? Somehow I lost it. Oh, I know where it is. It's on the bottom of my StreamYard thing. All right, here we go. So he also made up the name for me. I was going to call it Caitlin Clark's Spotlight, and he came up with Caitlin Clark's Crossover. He said where other broadcasters can cross over. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Also alliteration.
So anyways, we'll give him a couple more minutes, and then we'll start if he's not here, because I got plenty of questions for people. I only have 300 questions. I only got 5 of them last week. So we're down to 295. But we didn't get to very many questions last week. Some people are long-winded, so we got to. But the thread got up to 500. That's what people told me. And then we got about 5,000 views of the show. So, anyways, I don't know if I don't have his phone number. I just have his. It was pretty easy to figure out how to get in, right, with the link.
I mean, same thing I use. So yeah.
Yeah, nobody had a problem. So I didn't know that. Well, I can start with the questions that people got. A lot of how many people in the audience? 64. All right. Well, we'll just start with the questions, and someone. If I don't notice them down below, let me know. Let's say that. My first question I have, then, we'll just get started, is the Fever said they were stressing culture and the importance of a harmonious locker room, and then they signed Brianna Turner, and to a lesser extent, Sydney Colson. Some Fever fans and some YouTube commentators lost their minds because they said the organization was being a bunch of hypocrites. Are either of these signings a major concern for you? Adrian, what do you think?
Well, this is something. First of all, again, thank you for having me on the show. Glad to be here with you and Robin. You said Sydney Colson as well as Brianna Turner?
But to a lesser extent, Sydney Colson. Most of the uproar was over Brianna Turner.
Sure, yes. And I spent a lot of time on that on the Adrian Ross show talking about that. I can see why Brianna Turner in particular is seen to be a bit of an issue because of the whole political nature that she brings. And I will say this. I left it at this after I opened up my show for people to come on and express what they think. We've heard from front office. We've heard from Stephanie White that they would consult with the core of their team to decide who fit into the culture. And so I'm going to take her at her word. And I'm going to say that every single one of those players gave their stamp of approval for having her on the Fever. So for me, I would have preferred they had stayed away from that, but I'm not in on the conversations. I don't know exactly what went down. All I know is that I believe them when they said our only request was that you protect the locker room. And I only know that the front office and the coach said that they honored that request. So for that purpose, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they know what I don't know. Although from the outside looking in, I certainly would have stayed away from Breonna Turner. That's
okay.
what
Robin, say as much as you want about that topic.
Yeah, to what Adrian said, Aaliyah Boston literally said on the record that they were consulted about the moves that were made. I mean, she said that in an interview. Secondly, the locker room is a lot different than what people read on Twitter, right? Like, you can have a problem. You could say, I don't want to mix this and that, or disagree with someone's opinion, or say you're putting too much out there, or whatever the case may be. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the locker room whatsoever. You're talking about some vets here. I'll start with Sydney Colson, who has, from all reports, been a beloved figure within the locker rooms that she's been in, has been part of a championship team. So you can't really go, oh, there's any results that fly contrary to that. And then Breonna Turner is a vet who I've never heard a single report of her being a problem in the locker room. You know, we're talking about tweets here and content creators. And as one, what is a content creator's job? To get engagement, to get clicks, to get people talking. We're in the off season. There's not as much to talk about. I don't think Turner has the gravitas, number one, to cause a problem, because she could be gone at any second. Secondly, there is no indication from her career that she's ever caused a problem within the confines of the locker room versus, let's say, I'll use an example, a very high profile example, Kennedy Carter, a terrific basketball player, right? You watch Kennedy Carter play, one of the most talented one-on-one players in the sport, and she can't find her way on a team. The reports were that the Sky got rid of her because free agents didn't want to come to the Sky because she was on the team. And that is a locker room problem, right? People do not want to be a part of your team. People do not want to be a part of your team because what's going on behind the scenes and within the confines of the locker room. All of that, I have never heard anything in the realm with these players who are veterans. They didn't just show up in the league. And, you know, in Turner's case, it really does seem to be all about tweets, which I'm not saying you have to like. I'm not saying that at all, but I don't think that is the same thing as what's going on, you know, behind the scenes when Stephanie White's talking to the Fever players.
Well, I agree with everything you guys said. I think there's only one thing you need to look at. It was the interview that they gave to Caitlin Clark. In the middle of the interview, she was talking about the players they were looking for, and she said, those are the players that we wanted to bring on board. We wanted to bring on board. It was obvious Caitlin Clark had approved every player they signed. That's good enough for me. That just tells me she doesn't think it's going to be a problem. And everything you said confirms that other players were confirmed, like Kelsey Mitchell and
Aaliyah
Boston. Those players were all confirmed. The coach obviously thinks she can control the situation. As you said, it's more on Twitter, not in the locker room. So I don't think it's going to be a major issue. Some people lost their minds on that. They overreact.
If I may jump in again,
go ahead.
I don't think it'll be a problem with the team, obviously, for reasons we said. I think the problem may come with the fans. Many of the players may absolutely agree with Breonna Turner's takes. So there's that. But the fan base, myself included, may not. And so I think that's where a lot of issues come through, not so much the team, but the fans. And I think the front office and the coach, perhaps they have to weigh all that, but ultimately they're there to win games and win a championship. But I think if it gets out of hand, then you might find an issue with the fans. And Brianna Turner, for example, has let us know that she's not just a basketball player and that she's going to continue to do this stuff. I felt like she was sending a message to the fans when she mentioned the homophobia and all that stuff, pushing that narrative. Like I said, I don't like it. Is it enough to make me not watch The Fever? Well, I didn't like Caitlin Clark's comments at the Time Magazine article either. If I got to hear it every day, then that might be a different story. But she's certainly entitled to what she believes. So the team will have to determine if it's an issue. But like Robin said, it's not like she has the gravitas to really, weigh it one way or the other. I don't think. So I'm going to go along with what they said. They said it's not going to be a problem. The fans will have to make a decision on that.
That's fair. But I'll also say this about the fans. Most of the fans are not the ones who are tweeting either, right? Like we get a lot of the interaction from that, but they're not the ones buying the tickets and selling out the arenas and, necessarily setting the ratings records either. And I think the WNBA as a whole and some of the WNBA players, perhaps including Turner, made the mistake last year of amplifying the hell out of some of the stuff that was said online as if it was the predominant takeaway of what was going on in the league. So you get some random hateful comments because way more people have come in watching the league, including more trolls. And then the media and social media and some of the players then take that as if that's the narrative. Because when you go into, I was at, Barclays Center when the Liberty won the title. I was at the Target Center for Game 6 when the Lynx beat the Liberty to send it back to Brooklyn. I was in the building at one of the Fever games in New York as well. And you don't hear a lot of that nonsense in these arenas, right? So I think
it's unique to the WNBA. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying it's unique to social media. And social media isn't necessarily indicative of the fans at large or the audience at large. And I think, I think outlets like ESPN and then some of the political outlets, I have a bit on this. Like you had the one side that was always like, you cannot mention Caitlin Clark without mentioning all the players that have come before, and you must pass a quiz in order to be an NBA fan. And tell me about Cynthia Cooper and her season with the Houston and then
I'm in agreement with that one.
Yeah, and then you got the other side that's like, nobody in the WNBA matters but Caitlin Clark and everybody else is trash. Come on. You got these extremes on either side that became talking points across the board last year. And then I think some of that was amplified by the players who would, like when Alyssa Thomas sat in the post-game press conference and said Fever fans, when that's not Fever fans as a whole, right? Like that's a compilation of some stuff that happened. Or ESPN making that the conversation. What should Caitlin Clark do? Does she need to speak? All that sort of stuff that commandeered such of the lion's share of attention. When if you really were to take a step back and you go back and you look at this historically, what is the real story of what happened last year? An explosion of the WNBA and women's basketball, right? Like ratings.
We don't even know why it happened.
Yeah,
it's a mystery.
I can't put my finger on it, but an explosion that changed the trajectory of the sport, the number of people who are consuming the sport, the number of people who are watching it, the number of people who are buying tickets, the number of people who are buying merchandise. Like that was the real story of last season, and it got hijacked at times by social media being viewed as more of an influence than it really is.
Now, Adrian, you said you didn't like what Caitlin Clark said in the Time magazine. Now, I disagree with you on the interpretation that you have in what she said. I think that was a very nuanced topic, and she's only 22 years old, and she just wanted to throw something out there to make both sides happy. And I think all she was saying is that she's aware that there's some white privilege in society in general, but that she didn't have any privilege in basketball because white people don't have privilege in basketball. Just
I disagree.
Pardon me?
I disagree that's what she meant. I believe that, yes, she was, we at one end we say she's so mature for her age. And then when she says something we don't like, we say, well, she's only 22 or 20.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, look at the logic.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
She's saying this, and then she's saying, but I worked for everything. So she's separating the two.
Right. That's why I say both of them can't be true. I do believe that Caitlin Clark meant that as a white person, she said there is privilege. Did she say the precise words? I am a white person and I have privilege. No. But as an English teacher, we understand that certain things are implied. And so I do believe that she implied, okay, I have privilege as a white person. And then at the same time, she said, I work for everything that I have gotten.
I think she was inserting basketball there, though.
And well, that's your reading. And for some, I got to be honest and say, a lot of people want to say that because they don't want to believe that that's what she was saying. Because for some, not saying you, I don't know you personally, but for some, it makes them feel better to think that she didn't mean what she said. I'm going to say she meant what she said. I disagree with what she said, but I believe that she has the right to say it, to feel it, to embrace the pressure, if you will, or the surroundings in the WNBA. She then had that interview afterwards, and she said she didn't back out. She didn't back up at all. When I don't remember the woman's name who was interviewing her. She didn't back up. She had an opportunity to say that's not what I meant. She did not say that. Instead, she said, I'm very comfortable in my own skin and my truth, you know that phrase. So I believe that she meant what she said. So
Adrian, can I just say, I agree she meant what she said.
No,
but you said two things can't be true at the same time, which is why I think she meant them in two different ways. And in that way, it logically makes sense what she said.
It doesn't. I totally get what you're saying. I'm not confused about what you're saying. I'm saying that I believe my interpretation of what she said is accurate, and I believe she meant what she said. Okay. Now, I believe she was wrong, just as I believe your interpretation is wrong. With all due respect.
That's a problem. Robin, do you have a view on that?
Yeah, couple things. I thought her. If her follow-up interview that you're referencing, which I believe was with Carrie Champion, I think, if that had been what she said, no one would have an issue because she didn't put those two words in succession, the white and the privilege. They were separated. I think what Mark is saying has definitely some validity. I do believe in a certain sense because of what she had to go through last year, where she was often being asked to be the spokesperson in places where she shouldn't have had to be the spokesperson necessarily, that maybe the comments were a little bit of like I put it out in the universe. Let's all, move past what happened last season and give me my just due in regards to that, with, the implication of how that could come across. Do I believe Caitlin Clark has white privilege? Caitlin Clark is a badass baller. Right, like that's the long and short of it. That's where
we got two things: your privilege in general in society, like in business.
No, I mean, this is also a nuanced thing.
Or business and basketball. That's why I think it's hard to really interpret what she said because it's so nuanced. She didn't want to put a whole 3-paragraph discussion. She just wanted to get it out there to satisfy people.
She went on to talk about it. If you're not saying you have privilege, then what's your position about? Well, then it's my job to come along and uplift the Black women in the league. That's what she said. Only a person with privilege or perceived privilege can feel that. And then I can come along and it's my job to uplift the Black people. And she said, I realize that's important to this league. And I'm mindful of that. Like, I have now been brought up to speed on how this works. So you're not uplifting the Black people if you don't feel that you're in a position to uplift the Black people based on the privilege you just said before that. So I believe that's exactly what she meant.
Well, I mean, again, that can be a bit of an olive branch, right? For what took place. Because one of the things I think that was justified in a sense was the reaction from some of the players. Now it wound up taking on a life of its own and becoming overblown, where it did come in and there was this idea that the league, nobody cared about it. It was complete trash. And Caitlin Clark put it on the map. Now, if we're looking at it objectively, obviously, Caitlin Clark is responsible for the explosive growth in the league. You have to be a moron to not be able to process that. But nonetheless, there were great players. That's true, right? Just because they weren't being recognized necessarily doesn't mean they weren't great players. Did players before put the work in? Yes, they did put the work in, even if it didn't, bear the fruits of the labor that we saw later. So when you're one of those players and you're being trashed like that, it maybe doesn't feel good and can cause a little bit of resentment. Did that become misdirected as the season went on, as the discourse went on? Yes. Did Caitlin Clark get where she got because of white privilege? Absolutely not. That's silly. She broke the all-time scoring record in college. She went on to have the greatest rookie season anyone's ever had. You can see with your own two eyes how great a player she is. Is there any boost from being a white person? Well, I mean, that's hard to exactly measure or quantify. I call it a little bit like the Eminem effect.
Let's not measure it. That's my point.
Well, but yes, but I mean, was Eminem more popular because he was white? Probably. I grew up in that time period. Like, Eminem had to fight to get where he was because he came in the rap game as a white guy, and there weren't as many white rappers, or barely any white rappers. So it was probably harder for him to break through. But then when he did break through, were there a bunch of white kids who started buying his records, who weren't buying the other rappers' records at the time, and they were listening to Metallica or whatever they were listening to? Yes, I also saw that happen, right? Like, I was there for that, and I saw that happen. So there can be a benefit in that sense where there may be some people who relate to you, or, you know, it may put certain things over the top. But the root and foundation of Caitlin Clark's popularity has always been basketball. And the root and foundation of Caitlin Clark's accomplishments have always been basketball. And the idea that her being white is the driving force behind that is completely flawed. Even if it may be like, you know, if you're doing one of these pie graphs and you're trying to figure out the measurement, you could have a more nuanced discussion about that, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm willing to have that because I have a strong opinion on that. But I will say that this is my feeling, is that there's a lot of privileges in this world, and white privilege is only one of them. And I think it's only really in business and some social aspects. It's not in basketball. I think it's a disadvantage in basketball, not for popularity in terms of people doubting your ability as a white person because they think you're slower and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know how many times I've been called white boy on a basketball court?
Right.
You know, it's a meritocracy in a certain sense.
Right. So, but with Caitlin Clark, yes, I don't think she was given anything ability-wise in basketball. And we'll go back to what A'ja Wilson said. She said the quote was, it was a huge factor. A huge factor to me implies like 75%. Now, yeah. I'm a lawyer. If I'm in the courtroom, all I do is bring up the name Breanna Stewart and say Exhibit 1, end of the case right now. Because Breanna Stewart was more accomplished than Caitlin. I don't think she was better, but she was more accomplished than Caitlin Clark. 3-time Player of the Year, 4 championships, 4-time MVP in the Final Four. And she came in with no splash whatsoever in terms of the ratings. What's the difference? There's no difference. They're both white. Caitlin Clark's more exciting player. That's the difference. And so it's not because she was white. It's 10% because she was white, and not 75%, like A'ja Wilson's saying. It's somewhere between 1 and 20. I don't know what it is. I can't go into people's minds and figure out why they like her. There's no factor on me whatsoever. She's my favorite athlete since
I think we know why they like her.
Pardon me?
We know why they like Caitlin Clark.
Because she's exciting.
She's a good basketball player. I mean,
she's a great player, and she's exciting. She's got the impact that nobody else has.
Well, I think as a white person, and I did a video on this long time ago before the WNBA season even started. What if Caitlin Clark were black? Now, I do believe that that she caused a double take, because I've heard people even say they had heard the name Caitlin Clark. It's like, oh man, you got to check out. Didn't even know she was white. So nobody said to them, the white girl, Caitlin Clark. They said, this Caitlin Clark can ball, right? Mm-hmm. So they tuned in, they saw it, and it's like, oh, sweat, homegirl is white. I think that there are some people who may have looked at her because she wasn't the stereotypical basketball player. But in this day and age, ain't nobody, excuse my bad English, ain't nobody standing around to watch you play if you can't ball. Now, if she was trash and getting the endorsements and getting the attention, then I might then concede, okay, maybe it's white privilege, but she can play basketball. So I'm not willing to, and I just got to say, it's the black people I'm noticing who are pushing back. The white people are going, oh yeah, she's got privilege, because there is a such thing as white guilt, which is ridiculous. It's the black people I'm hearing who are going, no, and to a certain extent, it's condescending to black people when you come along and say, I've got to uplift you, which is probably why Cheryl Swoops, oh my goodness, which is probably why on Gil's Arena, when they mentioned that Caitlin has said what she said, that I'm going to come along and I'm going to try to uplift them, what do you have to say? And she just stared, because that's why I say you can't win. Just play your game, be yourself, and not give an inch, because it will never, ever be enough. Didn't mean to go there all this ways, but since we're here.
That's fine. No, I've said this in videos, but I haven't said it really in the live shows or anything like that. So I've made that point several times. And in fact, I made a comment to someone, the black women on Facebook who we're friends with, And she said, Caitlin Clark's just popular because she's white. And I said, look at Brianna Stewart. And they had no response to me whatsoever.
Diana Taurasi?
Well, yeah, it's I don't know the reason for it, but there's compared to, say, the NBA, where you really can only think of Larry Bird, any other white player is an international player who's been a great player. There's been a lot of great players who are white in women's basketball. In fact,
1/3 of the great players.
Yeah.
In fact, okay, they did a study. They did not a study. They had a list of top 25 players of all time. I looked them up. 16 were black, 8 were white, and 1 was Portugal. Okay, so 1/3 of the players. I mean, it's not a shock that a white player is great at women, especially in women's basketball.
No, it's not. And I think a couple things. One, you don't get as popular as Caitlin Clark is without everybody messing with you, right? Like Caitlin Clark is popular with men, women, black, white, Asian, gay, straight, whatever you want to say. Like everybody rocks with Caitlin Clark. You don't get that popular without that. And then there is this, it's not even just that she's a great player. There's this thing to her game, it factor, whatever you want to describe. But I think one thing that's getting discounted is how many dudes Caitlin Clark brought to the game. NBA fans.
WNBA especially, yeah.
What was the old Bill Burr bit like he used to say about women, the WNBA?
They don't support it. They just
you want us to go watch your sport too? Well, that's what happened with Caitlin Clark is a lot of NBA fans and hoops fans.
Remind me to play that.
and dudes came over. So there's just something about her game that appeals. And that way, the same thing happened to me. I love Diana Taurasi. She was the player I would have pointed to before Caitlin Clark and said, oh, okay.
Let's go to Diana Taurasi then.
Go ahead.
Let's go to Diana Taurasi because you and I have a disagreement on this. All right. So I don't like Diana Taurasi, and I don't think she's as great as people say she is. So my first question is Diana Taurasi the GOAT of the WNBA? That's my question.
Yeah, probably right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's a matter of time before Caitlin Clark is the GOAT of the
I get that.
WNBA.
Just right today.
Right now, I think it's who else is in the conversation? Maya Moore.
Cynthia Cooper.
Yeah, Cynthia Cooper. But when you look at longevity and accomplishments and notoriety, I mean, Sue Bird was a hell of a player too. There's been but I would say if I had to answer one, if I'm on the Family Feud, I'm saying Diana Taurasi.
Well, yeah, because that's
Adrian, who do you think?
I've always said Cynthia Cooper. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Go ahead. Cynthia Cooper's a hard one because she only played 4 years in the league, and look, she did so great. And she came in, she had played over in Europe, and she came really polished. She had had a little bit of advantage over everybody else when the league started. But I agree, Cynthia Cooper, it's 4 years. But I'm going to show you something because I completely disagree. Listen, in college, you can make an argument she's one of the top 10. She's certainly not the greatest college player of all time. In the WNBA, you can make the argument for top 5. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with number 1, and I'm going to give you good reasons why I think that, and you can, respond all you want. And let me pull this up, and I will show you what I have here. Okay, and then I have to pull that up on the screen for you. So here's my arguments for why she's not the GOAT. The first thing is she played 20 years and only won one MVP. Now, I understand that the bigs, I'll be real fair about this. I understand the bigs have an advantage. I get that. And I also know that doesn't prove everything because sometimes you come in second, third, and fourth. But I have this whole this whole YouTube channel where I do rankings, and I put a lot of thought into it. And for me, if I'm ranking someone in the top 10 or 20 or whatever, if they're not all pro first team a lot or not high in the MVP ranking a lot during their career, that tells me they really don't belong up there. And if you look at this is a list here. So, okay, what I did is I gave you 5 points if you were MVP, 3 points if you came in second, 2 points if you came in third, and 1 if you came in fourth. And this is MVP shares, my own way of ranking the MVP shares. And this, you can look down here and you can see that there was actually 8 people that won 2 MVPs, and she only won 1. You can see, I'll pull that up there. Is that still okay? Mm-hmm. 8 people won, 4 won 3, and 4 won 2. In addition to that, these are the MVP shares that I totaled up. She's really in 8th place. On the right here in the column, that's how many all defensive teams these other players made. And you can see everyone in front of her not only had more MVPs and more MVP shares, they all had way more all defensive teams. If you look at the NBA players all time, No one that was a bad defender or an average defender makes the list. If you look at the top, say 9, 10 players, they were all made the all defensive team except for Magic Johnson, who was great at the off ball defense. And everybody else at least won an MVP or was a great defender. Like Kobe had one MVP, but he had 9 times or 10 times first team all defense. Everybody else would have made all defense if they had that award back in the 60s, like Bill Russell and stuff like that. Everybody else has a lot of MVPs and a lot of even Larry Bird was 2-time all defense and second team. She doesn't have any. I can't give her the GOAT when she has 1 MVP and never made an all defensive team where everybody else has so much more above her. That's and if you look at that, I don't know how you argue against it. That's all I'm saying.
She does have 2 finals MVPs. Right?
I understand, but all these players have finals MVPs too.
So Cynthia Cooper's 4 final MVPs.
And she had 20 years to get it. She had 20 years to get it.
She's the all-time leading scorer, which is
I get it. I'm not saying there's not reasons for top 5. I have a hard time going there. If you look at all the players, I admit I haven't watched a lot of women's basketball, so I'm going by numbers here. Yeah. But I'm going by also my thought process in the NBA, who I know or all the GOAT conversations. They all have multiple NBAs, and they're all considered really good defenders. Even Magic was a good defender except for the on-ball defense because he was too big for his position. But everybody else all made all defensive teams and had multiple MVPs, multiple championships, everything else in the top 9, all the way from Michael Jordan down to Kobe.
Well, I also think that's where, it's like 2 sides of the same coin, where it's been a big dominated league for so long where she wasn't big. And that also bigs generally don't capture the imagination the same way. Like it comes up in the Asia Wilson conversation all the time to me. Like it's just like how Allen Iverson was more popular than Tim Duncan, even though Tim Duncan was better. Diana Taurasi, if you look at this list, is she the only guard on the list? It looks like, really
it's the only guard. She's
the only guard. So
who? Diana Taurasi?
Yeah.
I believe she's the only guard.
On this list?
Yeah.
Cynthia Cooper was a 2.
I thought she was listed as small forward. Okay.
No, Cynthia.
She's shooting guard.
Played the small forward position.
Okay. Then there's 2.
She was shooting guard.
Okay.
Yeah, Cynthia Cooper only played 4 years. Maya Moore and Ella Donna only played 8 full seasons, and Maya Moore only played 8 full seasons, just so you know. Everybody else played 10 or more, I think.
So 4 championships in 4 seasons is amazing.
The guards tend to relate to the fans a little bit more. But I mean, look, it's not a slam dunk. I mean, you make Lisa Leslie, look at where she's sitting up on that list. Obviously, Candace Parker. And I think both Breanna Stewart and Asia Wilson have claims to that. They're sort of fighting with claims in that title, being near the top of the all-time list as well, if you're looking at the history of the league and their accomplishments.
Okay, I'll take this down, but I just wanted to say my argument for that. I know this is all, speculative. You can't really prove it. I'm 100% sure in my mind that Michael Jordan's better than LeBron. I can't prove it to anybody, but I saw him play. So I know that. But I have another question. I saw in a video of yours, Robin, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot. You don't mind?
Sure.
Okay.
No.
Where you basically said that you thought Diana Taurasi should be on the Olympic team, and you said she should be one of the 5 or 6 players that you thought was a lock because of seniority and legacy and leadership and career and all that kind of stuff. And do you still feel that way, that it was right to put her on the team? Let's put it that way.
I don't remember this video per se, those words. I'm not sure. I still don't have a problem with it. I mean, for what she's accomplished in her career, you could make an argument. Look, I think absolutely Caitlin Clark should have been on the Olympic team, but would I have had her over Chelsea Gray instead of Diana Taurasi? Probably, right? Like, I think there were other omissions you could have on that team rather than Taurasi. First of all, let me just put it this way. It didn't bother me, and I wasn't off-put by Taurasi being on the team, knowing that it was toward the end of her career and knowing what she had accomplished and what she had put into that program already.
But do you think it's fair to put her on when she hasn't made an all-pro team in 4 years and she wasn't one of the top 12 players anymore? They didn't really need leadership. They had plenty of leadership. They had plenty of veteran stuff.
I mean, Christian Laettner was on the dream team, right? Christian Laettner was on the dream team, right? I mean, like, it's not always
that wasn't because of his career accomplishments.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, my point is that it's not always necessarily. But I think what happened was, because the argument for Caitlin Clark became, this is the 12 best players and she's not amongst them. that was the flaw. It doesn't necessarily have to be the 12 best players on the Olympic team every single time. But I think because that was used to argue against Clark's inclusion, it sort of hijacks the conversation a little bit. Because looking, again, Chelsea Gray was coming off an injury, hadn't even played at that point in time.
So to be clear, you would have taken Chelsea Gray off instead of Diana Taurasi.
Yes, probably, if it were me.
Adrian, what do you think about all this?
Diana Taurasi should not have been on the team. Chelsea Gray should not have been on the team. Caitlin Clark should have been on the team. And not just for the reasons that you get like a Stephen A. Smith saying.
I did a video on that today, by the way. Go ahead.
Oh, did you? Okay, so
Stephen whole video on that. I'll tell you what it is. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Stephen A. was for the marketing aspect, which I get. I totally get that. But you heard Caitlin, even in the Time magazine, she was insulted by that. I think that was the article. She was insulted by that whole idea. Now, there is some merit to that because you're trying to grow the game. But I would say that Caitlin Clark deserved to be on that team, not just because she brings the eyeballs, but because she had what it took to be on the team. She deserved to be on the team. But the argument from everyone was, well, who would you take off the team? Who would you take off? Diana Taurasi, who didn't do much, who sat out. She shouldn't have been on the team. But Caitlin Clark, like she said, they woke a monster, whatever. But yeah, she absolutely should have been on the team. And I know people are going to say she needed the rest. She came back stronger. But that should have been for Caitlin to say, you know what? I'll take the rest this time. She should have been on the team. There was a whole lot more going on there than she wasn't the best. Nonsense.
Well, obviously, she should have been on the team for both reasons, right? Like, she was good enough from a merit standpoint where, you're really grasping at straws, like to say, okay, was it 12? Was it 13? Was it 9? Was it 8? Where was she at that point in time? But she was in the mix and statistically just as good or better than some of the people that were on the team in front of her. And that was starting with a crazy schedule at the beginning, right off of college into her rookie year. Then, of course, if the women's basketball team would have been put up next, you would have seen the shoots with LeBron, Steph, and Caitlin Clark, right? Like, you would have had all of that machine behind the U.S. women's team as well. So for both reasons. And then when you watch them play, it was the backcourt play, the guard play, that was the problem. And it would be Gray and Taurasi. But, I would, if I'm, again, this is like, we're going backwards, but Taurasi has the achievement if you wanted to put her on as the legacy award. Gray had not even really played. She was coming back off injury. They were the two weakest players on the team from a production standpoint.
By far.
Yeah, so that's the easy ones to actually take off. And in retrospect, it looked even more ridiculous after Caitlin Clark did what she did in the All-Star game as a point guard and then did what she did out of the Olympic break just as a player overall. She clearly would have been the best point guard on the roster.
By a large margin.
By a mile.
Like you think Sabrina Ionescu is actually a point guard, which I don't really think.
Caitlin's much better than Sabrina Ionescu also.
But she's not even a point guard. She's like a 1.5 at the best.
Yeah, she's kind of a combo guard, Sabrina. But regardless, Caitlin's just a better player than Sabrina.
I agree.
And she would have put all these highlight mixtapes up with that personnel and that roster. So any way you slice it, of course, it was dumb and stupid. I just didn't have a personal beef or issue with Taurasi. Like, I get it from a legacy standpoint. And she, but did Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark a better player? Yes.
I don't get it from a legacy standpoint. And I say that because we're supposed to be looking forward. We're supposed to be building a league, not just looking back. Diana Taurasi had the 5, she had her 5 gold medals. Mm-hmm. And I think, and so when you start talking about GOAT and stuff like that, I'm thinking about basketball. I'm thinking about skill. Diana Taurasi, of course, incredible skill. You can't take that away from her, right? But at the same time, I look at character, and I would have had more respect for Diana Taurasi if she would have stepped back, said, I really don't deserve to be here. Now, I don't know. Rare is the person, I guess, who would have done that. I don't know. Cynthia Cooper would have done it, I think. But it's time to move forward, and you had this great opportunity, but you just had to get your other one, knowing that you were not where you had been. And so
Well, you know what you know how bad you actually wanted it. So Caitlin Clark couldn't get 6 also. That's why she wanted Caitlin Clark off the team.
But she also knew in the back of her head probably that this was her last dance, or we knew it was her last chance at the Olympics.
The last Olympics was okay, right?
Yeah. All right, but think about it this way.
This one wasn't.
Close your eyes and think of the signature moments of the WNBA season. Taurasi embracing Caitlin Clark is right up there near the top. So if they were playing together and sharing the court, does that not grow the game? You know, the two of them at the same time on the court in the Olympics, even if it's for short spurts and short period of time, I could argue that grows the game too.
I will acknowledge the answer is obviously yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good point, but I don't believe in legacy or career placements on the Olympics. Christian Laettner was not a legacy replacement. It was a replacement for a different reason.
Well, my point there was that it wasn't necessarily
I understand it's not always the 12 best players. Yeah. But so in going back with Stephen A. Smith, and so what happened was after they announced the Olympic team on Sunday, June 8th, this is my video today, on June 9th, on First Take, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe came on the show, and all Stephen A. Smith argued was marketing, 100%. Shannon Sharpe argued marketing, and he argued about the other women who were just out of college, like Brianna Stewart and Diana Taurasi and Candace Parker, who all got placed in the Olympic team without having to prove themselves in the WNBA. He made that point, but that's it. None of them made it because she was good enough. And then 3 months later, Shannon Sharpe tried to argue, don't pretend she wasn't averaging 16 points and that she wasn't as good as these other people. And I go, why weren't you arguing that 3 months ago? And that was my problem with them, is they kept arguing marketing, when Adrian's point is they should have been arguing that they were good. She was good enough to be on the team. Because of all the obstacles that she had, her numbers were actually probably 1.5 times better than they actually were.
Yeah, well, I was arguing that. I was arguing that at the time too. Like, I mean, in real time, I was arguing she was good enough. So yeah, I mean, look, I think a lot of the mainstream media can be behind a little bit because they're, they're not necessarily in the weeds for some of these conversations. And then the Caitlin Clark thing is an interesting dynamic, because I actually believe some of these folks probably thought it was more like Tim Tebow than Michael Jordan. And it turned out more Michael Jordan than Tim Tebow, if you know what I'm saying, like where it was like going to be this fad that was eventually going to blow away versus this sea change in the way we view a sport.
All right, now I want to go to something that we disagree on, Diana Taurasi and the Olympic thing, but Rob and I kind of are on the same page in this from looking at his videos. And some of my listeners give me a hard time because I say Caitlin Clark is not yet the best player in the league, but she will be this year. And Robin I've seen you say the exact same things that I have, is that she's really close. And by sometime this year, she's going to be the best player in the league. So my question is to you, is that true? Is that your belief?
I mean, yeah, I think you could make the argument she was the best player in the league after the Olympics, right? Like, but you factor in the whole season and that start, and it was tough. So yeah, I mean, I think it's I do think she will be the best player in the league this coming season. So I think we're more or less on the same page. The beats of that are more or less correct.
So this was our question last week, and Adrian, you can say whatever you want from last week, repeat, or you can say something new. But the MVP odds have Asia Wilson, and then Caitlin Clark, and then Nafisa Collier, and then Brianna Stewart. Do you think those are correct? I know people don't have to make comments. I know how Vegas odds go. It's not a real prediction, but it's still a prediction on how people are thinking and how they're going to bet. What do you think the odds should be, and who do you think is going to win the MVP this year?
Okay, my answer is the same as last week because I meant what I said.
Right.
And that is, I have to see how it plays out. I don't know. If Caitlin Clark's going to be the MVP, other things, play a factor into that, voting and all that, as we said last week. So I agree with, I believe it was Robin who just said after the Olympics, for sure, she was the best player, I believe, in the league. And not only in her own play, but she makes other people better. And with this new...
By a large margin. By a large
margin. And I'll go so far as to say I'll give the edge to her because, I mean, I'm not in there with all these players. But one thing I know is that Caitlin Clark has the Kobe and the Michael work ethic. And she desires to be the best. So she's putting in the work. She already has the God-given skill and she works hard at it. So I would go with her. But until I see how she works and how she meshes with this team, because also what are her numbers going to look like this year? Because she's got other players around her. You can get a bucket from so many different people. All that plays a factor as well. I got to see it to say for sure. As a fan, I could say, oh, yeah, it's Caitlin. But
okay,
I'll find out.
Robin?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think to me, it's Clark and Collier.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nafisa is very versatile in what she can do, both on offense and on defense. And Asia's a tremendous player, don't get me wrong. But she also, Clark's different than both of them in the sense of she's making it happen with the ball in her hands from start to finish, which does also influence her teammates, what she's able to create and everything like that. Nobody even comes close to her in that regard, in the realm of being a playmaker and changing the dynamics on the floor in that way. Asia's a better defender at the rim than Nafisa Collier, but Nafisa Collier to me is a better defender out on the perimeter and all around than Asia. And then Asia, so much of her game is based on that mid-range face-up jump shot, which she's excellent at. It almost reminds me of like Chris Bosh. That's the spot on the floor he liked to shoot the ball from. But the way Collier is able to move without the ball and cut and stay in motion and all that, to me, if I were handicapping it going into next season, it would be Clark, Collier, Asia. Asia had this weird push around her at the beginning of this year.
I agree with that completely.
Where you were almost like, if you didn't say she was the MVP, it was blasphemous. And not to say she earned it. I don't have a problem with her. I don't have a problem with her winning MVP, mind you. I have a problem with being told I had to think she was the MVP from the very beginning of the season.
Okay, next question. These are the MVP odds. It's New York, then shockingly to me, Las Vegas. They lost so many players, everybody knows. Then Minnesota, Indiana, then Phoenix. So tell me your feelings on that. How accurate you think that is, and are you surprised that the Fever's only fourth and the Aces are second? Because I'm shocked at both of those.
I would have the Fever ahead of the Aces too. I mean, the same. I think the Aces, you started to see the attrition hit them last year, and now you've seen some of their players. Obviously, Kelsey Plum's gone. They kind of 1-for-1 swap with Jewel Lloyd there, but they lost some of that bench. I would have it Liberty, Lynx, Fever in some order. I think those will be the top three teams.
Okay, Adrian?
I would put, again, this is a lot I got to see, but for the sake of conversation, I will say this. I would put the Lynx ahead of the Liberty, as I think the Lynx, I think the team was cheated out of a championship there. So I'm going to put, and for that, they're on a mission. Nafisa Collier is on it, even in Unrivaled. There's something different about her. They feel cheated. Coach is a great coach as well. Of course, Sandy Brondello is also, but I'm going to put the Lynx ahead of the Liberty. I'm not sure that Indiana is under the Liberty after the Liberty either. That's all I got there.
Wow. Okay, I must be. Listen, I'm really objective. You see what I predicted last year. I predicted the Fever would make the playoffs, but I didn't predict them to win much more than 5 games after that to get the playoffs. They won 13 the year before. I said Caitlin Clark would not win the MVP, but she'd be first team All-Pro. I said Caitlin Clark would be 20, 10, and 6. I was almost 100% on with Caitlin Clark, so I think I'm objective. I think Caitlin Clark is the favorite to win the MVP. I think the Fever are the favorites to win the championship. I think they're going to have the best record by the end of the year. They won't start out with the best record. I think they're going to win the first round 2-0. They're going to beat some team in the semis 3-1, and then they're going to play the Lynx in the finals and beat them 4-2. I'll even go that far with it. I must be missing something. They have the defense now, not the best defense in the league, but good defense. They have the best offense. They have the player that makes everyone around them better, and they actually have a real coach. They should have been 25-15 last year with a real coach. So they don't have to go up that much. They were really a 25-15 team with a lousy coach.
Well,
I'm missing something, I guess.
I'm with you on paper. I mean, I think there's one thing if I understand where you take the two teams that were in the finals, and then one of them won, and the other one is motivated. So if you want to in the preseason,
I agree with Adrian on that.
Yeah, in the preseason, have it that way. That's fine. I think the Fever absolutely have the highest ceiling. I mean, I think you took a team, and I think Natasha Howard is a way bigger addition than people realize, specifically for the aspect of just catching and finishing on the run. Which was something that was lacking for the team in the front court last year. Temi Feg-Bentley did a little bit of it early in the year, but really fell off as the season went along, and no one else could do it. Bonner can do that too, brings versatility. This is a team that got tougher. They got punked a lot last year. That ain't going to happen this year. No one's going to look at them and think of them as soft with Bonner and Howard and Cunningham in tow. They added shooting in Cunningham. They added size all
You're
around.
making my argument for me.
Yeah. I mean, they even the depth, even from the beginning of the show, those depth pieces, think about specifically what they fill. Like Turner is a backup for Boston and a defensive presence on the interior that they didn't have. And Colson is a backup for Clark and a perimeter defender that they didn't necessarily have.
Mark, I want to say this. I wasn't disagreeing with you. I have no problem with the position that the Fever could win the championship at all. What I was saying was that I have the Lynx ahead of the Liberty is what I'm saying. But I don't have a problem with Indiana coming out on top at all. On paper, of course.
So today, there was an award for unanimous Player of the Year for Juju Watkins. And three broadcasters lost their minds. I didn't lose my mind over it, even though I think it's very close. And so on X, on Rosalina Lee, who's actually going to be on the show, I guess, next week. I'm not even sure. So let's see. I have this quote. So I made a comment to her when she said she was shocked that it was unanimous for Juju Watkins. And I was a little surprised, but it doesn't bother me. It's either someone's going to win or not going to win it. Unanimous is not really overrated. So what I said was, Juju is likable and a super talent, but as long as Caitlin Clark is playing, Juju will be overrated and overhyped by some of the media, especially black and overly woke white women who have the ABC, anybody but Caitlin Clark syndrome, and are dying to replace her with a black female. Respond to that.
I think Juju's the truth. And I've been won over by Juju as the season went along because I feel like.
But is she overrated and overhyped? I know. No. I think she's a phenomenal player and going to be a phenomenal player.
No, I mean, I think the only way to say she's so. Look, I let me put it this way: I had Hannah Hidalgo as National Player of the Year for much of the year, but Juju passed her for me with what she did in the last several weeks relative to what Hannah did in the last several weeks, and Juju was unbelievable in those games against UCLA. Now, I think sometimes the hype is weaponized in a sense to discredit Caitlin Clark, and that's where some of the backlash comes from when people go like, oh, Juju is going to be better or already is better or does all these things better. And that is flawed. But I do think Juju is probably the best prospect since Caitlin Clark.
I'll agree with that.
What qualifies as overhyped and overrated?
I'll give you some quotes. She's the Michael Jordan of basketball. There's nothing she can't do. She'll be the first player she's the first female that's going to play in the NBA. All things like that. Yeah. She's already the GOAT. There's a documentary about
right now. Who was the former NBA coach who said it? I did a video.
George Karl. But
yes, he said right now.
These are things right now. There's no way she's not overrated. Now, listen, I think she is the best best talented person outside of Caitlin Clark. I think she will go down as one of the 5 greatest players of all time in both college and the WNBA. I don't think she's going to be as good as Caitlin Clark because she does not have the ability to make her teammates better like Caitlin Clark. She's more of a one-on-one type player. She's a phenomenal player, though. So I'm not taking her down. I'm just saying
I guess
the anointed her as the GOAT.
She's overrated and overhyped by the standard of ridiculous. Like if somebody says something ridiculous, yes, then maybe she's overrated.
But they made a documentary about her after her freshman year, and all she was first team All-American.
Sure, but if you're
Paige Beckers won Player of the Year. There was no documentary about her.
What documentary does Juju have? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Oh, there's a big, long documentary on becoming Juju. It was like an hour, 2 hours long on a network. They're following around with a camera. Come on.
That's because she's, that's because the game.
Clark didn't get that until she was a senior and was a 2-time Player of the Year and dragged 3-star recruits to the finals 2 years in a row.
But Juju Watkins, because of Caitlin Clark, is entering women's basketball at a higher plane of existence than previously was there. So, Caitlin Clark,
like she won the award Player of the Year when the season started, just like Asia Wilson did.
Perhaps, and I felt that way too. But then she won it in my. Then
no,
she
I
won
agree.
Me over. So, if we're saying she's a lock to be the number 1 pick in the draft, is the best prospect since Caitlin Clark, and is the National Player of the Year, it's kind of hard to be overrated, other than when judged against somebody saying something absurd. So, yes, by the sense of her playing in the NBA, is she overrated? Yes. But in the sense of her already being better than Caitlin Clark, in every single way, yes, then she's overrated. But in the sense of her being a hell of a basketball player and a player that at least you can entertain a comparison and maybe eventually, then no, she's not overrated.
Well,
Adrian, go ahead. Sorry.
She's either overrated or she's not, and she's overrated. I mean, they're overrating her. She's not. They want to replace Caitlin Clark. I think you said, Mark, that the unanimous part isn't what it doesn't make a difference. I think it does.
It doesn't bother me.
She wasn't unanimous player of the year, by the way.
She
was not unanimous player of the year. She was unanimous player of the year via The Athletic.
Okay.
So whoever the writers, five writers,
have to come out.
whatever.
Fair point. Okay, so they're overrating her, right? But yeah, I think that there's this desire to have somebody else come in and be in the same conversation as be in the same conversation as Caitlin. And Juju, for me, is she a great player? Yes. I think she might have some adjustments to make, because I get this sense, hey, I coach, so I get it, but I get the sense that her coach, they can be up 30, 50, whatever. She's going to try to make sure that Juju gets hers. She's going to try to make sure that Juju gets that scoring title. And not every coach is going to succumb to that, if I could use that. I also find her extremely boring, which may be a totally different conversation. She's got great footwork. I think she needs more. I look at her and I just go, other than those silly pictures of her sticking her tongue out, there's not hardly anything there. You only get to see little glimpses of it. People want to see a little bit more fire. Doesn't mean she's not a good basketball player, but we're at right now.
Shot and yelled right into the camera the other night.
Like I said, we see glimpses of it. Other than that, if you ever watch her, some of the replays, she literally sits there looking like she's rolling her eyes. Like, what am I doing here? And I'm not saying that makes her a bad basketball player. I'm saying that people want to see some fire. It's sort of like, it reminds me, I got to say this, I was thinking about this earlier. It reminds me of 2012 when, not to get into politics, I shouldn't even have to say that. Whatever, I'm getting into politics. Mitt Romney, for example, just came off extremely boring. And then he said, well, I'm not going to light my head on fire for people. And I still remember Sarah Palin saying, well, you don't have to light your head on fire, but could you light us on fire? Like, could you show a little bit of oomph? So I find her boring. I don't know. But is she a great basketball player? Yes. Is she overrated? Yes. All that's true.
I'll give you an example, Robin. Her shooting percentage was not good last year, and it's better this year, but still not great. And last year she had more turnovers than assists. I thought turnovers bother the heck out of Juju Watkins fans when Caitlin Clark has them. She had more turnovers than assists.
But this is the problem. The problem is when we do it all through the prism of Caitlin Clark. And I get that becomes the discussion
I understand.
a lot of the time. But to me, it's two sides of the same coin, right? Like, it's like, all right, Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins is so great. We're using her to discredit Caitlin Clark. And then on the other side, it's like, no one's ever going to be as good as Caitlin Clark. Forget Caitlin Clark. Take Caitlin Clark out of the conversation for a second. Caitlin Clark is the most exciting player to watch. So is Juju as exciting as Caitlin Clark?
No, but I didn't. But no. I didn't say that though. But I didn't even mention Caitlin. But I said that I find her boring.
Then who's fun to watch? Who is fun to watch?
Hannah Hidalgo, Caitlin Clark.
Is Hannah not fun to watch?
I love what. Yeah, I think Hannah and Juju are fun to watch.
Okay. I think the difference.
Wait, hold on.
Let the Pope
because
jump
I
in
want to make it plain. I want to make it plain that I am not among those who feel like you have to mention Caitlin with every single player. In fact, it gets on my nerves. Okay, so no, I'm not even saying that. I'm not judging her by Caitlin because she's nowhere near Caitlin. So there's no reason to mention her, right? I just find her boring. A great player, but a boring player. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Hey,
regardless,
we're just talking about whether or not Juju was overrated and overhyped, essentially, if you want to jump in on that topic.
But yeah, I think she is fiery when she needs to be. I think this spotlight has caught her off guard too. I also believe, like the narrative of she's better than Caitlin Clark, she's the next Caitlin Clark, so on and so forth. I don't think that's what she's really into. Like, she not with
no, it's not her fault
pushing that, right? She just want to hoop. I think she just want to play basketball and do her own thing. And so now that this spotlight and this newfound, okay, she got to try to carry this. I'm just as good as Caitlin Clark. I'm the next Caitlin Clark. I'm the next one to move the needle. She settled into it, and I think you'll see more fire out of her come junior year, senior year. I think the more she gets used to this spotlight, she'll get more. Just like for example, Steph Curry. Steph Curry never used to do nothing but just bust your butt. Then once he got really famous and known, you see him always taunting. You see him doing all kind of dancing on the court. You see him being himself. So I think when you new into the spotlight, you kind of don't know how to take it. And once you get comfortable in it, more will come out. More of your personality on the court will come out.
Okay, I think everybody agrees that the pressure got to her, and that's probably why she got off to a slow start this year, because she was overhyped, and at least overhyped. You know, I think that affected her mentally. And then she got on a roll, and now she's playing better.
And to be clear, to Pope said, I'm not talking about the taunting. That's not. I'm not looking for that. That's not what I meant either when I say excitement.
I don't think she's an exciting player either. And I think she's too one-on-one.
But that's what's exciting, right? When Hannah Hidalgo do like this to the crowd, or when Caitlin do this, or
right. But that I don't see that as taunting.
It's taunting. It's taunting. It's what's exciting when.
Well, I'll disagree.
I don't think that's taunting either.
It's not taunting. By definition, it's not taunting. But
I don't think it's taunting. What Angel Reese did at the end of the game, that was taunting.
That was taunting. Correct.
Everything else is just, showmanship. And they don't do it in people's face. You see Hannah Doggle, she does it this, but she goes away from the player when she does it. And Caitlin Clark does it to the crowd. And she's not doing it to a player. It's a big difference.
No. We're not talking. Okay, what Angel Reese does is not taunting. That's not a part of it.
At the end of the LSU
when you
game?
do something, okay, maybe we're using the wrong words here. Because taunting, but
that was
what do you call it?
Taunting,
showmanship. You said showmanship. You use the proper showmanship. She doesn't use too much showmanship. No. Taunting is what Angel Reese do. Okay, so I'm agreed.
Just the one time.
Taunting is when you after the game over, you in people's face. That'll get your teeth knocked out. Showmanship during the game, you laughing, you joking, whatever the case may be, you too small, whatever they use, all that good stuff. That's a part of the game. I think Juju Watkins will show you more showmanship as time goes on.
She's only 19, right? Too. I mean,
No, I get that. I have no problem with her personality. I think she's a nice person. I don't think she's, it's got a lot of pizzazz in her personality. Yeah, but she's 19 years old. It's not even her fault. It's the media's fault, and they just want to do it. Hey, Adrian, how many minutes do you have left before you got to
go? I'll give you one. I think I got about one.
You got one? All right. Why don't you promote your show, and then I'll do a rapid fire with these two, and then we can talk some more if they want to stick around.
Okay, so I am Adrian Ross of The Adrian Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. So check me out over there. Also have a second channel called Adrian Ross Squared, where I'm squaring off from A to Z. And thank you again, Mark, for having me on. And Robin, good talking to you. And
I got one rapid fire question for you then.
Oh, sure.
Better coach, Gino Auriemma or Dawn Staley?
Dawn Staley.
Okay.
Dawn Staley.
I got 5 other ones, but you got to go. I got 5 other ones. You can stick around or you can go. It's up to you.
All right. I'll catch you later. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is Rose playing the Owls before you go?
Excuse me?
Is Rose playing Owls before you go?
I think they're playing right now. I got the time wrong. Rose is playing Laces right now. Phantom will play the Owls next.
Okay, Rose play the Laces. Okay.
Robin, how are you on time?
All right. Thank you, guys.
I got 5 minutes.
Late.
5 minutes? All right. Got rapid fire questions. All you got to do is answer real quick. And DePope, you can stick around. You and I will talk after Robin leaves.
You said my name right. Right on, Mark.
What did I call you before?
I don't know.
You got simpler names.
It wasn't DePope.
I mean, you get me all confused with all these hyphens and stuff. Just have simple names. All right, let me do the.
Listen, the game words with a hyphen in my name. Come on.
So, okay, same question I just asked her. Better coach Gino Auriemma or Dawn Staley? It's called rapid fire, Robin.
Gino Auriemma on just it's close, but the volume wins in that regard.
Okay, DePope.
Gino.
Okay, let me get my rapid fire questions. I have these. Got to pull them up on my thing here. Give me 1 second. Okay, you can both answer. Just, I guess, DePope, you go first and Robin goes second. Here we go. Oops. Okay, who will have a better WNBA career, Hannah Hidalgo or Tanaya Latson? They're both kind of short. That's why
I'm gonna go Tanaya Latson.
Okay,
I'll say Hannah.
All right. Best player at UConn, Sarah Strong or Paige Beckers?
Paige Beckers. I love Sarah Strong's potential, and I think she is one of the best prospects in the world right now, obviously. But I think since January, Paige has really turned the page, if you will, and her playmaking and experience give her the slight edge right now.
Okay, DePope.
I don't watch UConn.
Okay, next question. Who will have a better college career, Caitlin Clark or Juju Watkins?
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
Okay, who will have a better WNBA career, Caitlin Clark or Juju Watkins?
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
Okay, better player between the Kelseys, Kelsey Mitchell or Kelsey Plum?
Ooh.
Pistol Mitchell.
Based on last year, Kelsey Mitchell. I wouldn't rule out Kelsey Plum because she's going to have so much more opportunity with the basketball, but Kelsey Mitchell was awesome last year.
Okay. Who will end up with a better WNBA career, Diana Taurasi or Asia Wilson? End up. Not right now, but end up.
Diana Taurasi, it's hard to. I mean, it's Asia has a chance. I mean, there's already people campaigning for her to be the GOAT, so she definitely has a chance. But you can't really beat retiring as considered the GOAT by the most and the all-time leading scorer in league history.
Okay, DePope.
I don't like neither one of them.
That wasn't the question. Which one's going to be better?
I can't.
Okay. So I have
can't.
just a fun question. Everybody knows who the Hatelins are. Just anyone who hates Caitlin Clark for no reason. National thought.
Hayden Hearts. Yeah, the Hayden Hearts.
So see if you can come up with something spontaneous. That's fine. I have a couple answers. If you guys can't think of anything. So this is a new thing I'm going to do. What would the Hatelins say if Caitlin Clark won her first WNBA championship with 11 high school freshmen? What would the Hatelins say to minimize her accomplishment and not give her any credit?
She played with the best freshman class of all time.
Anyone else? Anyone in the audience want to put a comment down? Feel free.
Say that one more time.
What would the Hatelins say if Caitlin Clark won her first WNBA championship with 11 high school freshmen? What would they say to minimize her accomplishments and not give her any credit?
She's white.
She's white. All right, here I have two answers. One is it wasn't fair to the grown-ass women in the WNBA because they were really tall high school freshmen. And two, they only won because the other players couldn't even look at Caitlin without being called for a foul because she is the protected, perfect white princess. And that's how irrational I think the Hatelins are, because they'll just come up with any. It won't matter when she wins her first WNBA championship. She won't get credit for it. You already saw that coming as soon as that one woman said that she called the commissioner to make sure the team was stacked. I don't know who said that. One of the people on X or something like that, or Twitter or whatever it was. You already know she's not getting credit for it. First they say she can't win, and then she finally has to have enough talent to win, and then they're going to say, oh, she had too much talent. That's what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. We already saw it coming. DePope, did you think it was you're in a different time zone than us? It's
yeah, I think so, man, because I thought she said 6 o'clock my time, man.
That's okay. Our live show's till 8:30. You and I can talk more, and Robin's got to go. Robin, thank you very much for joining us. And listen, there's one thing I'm trying to find out, if you can. I did a search on ChatGPT. Yeah. I know that like this one award just came out. There's 5 other awards for Player of the Year, the 5 major ones. The Ward Award, I think it's called, whatever it is. The 4 big ones are the Heisman. I mean, not the Heisman. The Naismith and the John Wooden Award, the Basketball Writers Association, and AP. Those are 4 separate awards. I'm trying to figure out whether any of them get voted on at the end of the regular season or after the conference championships. I know none of them get voted on after the tournament. It's before the tournament.
The Wooden Award is supposed to take tournament play into consideration.
The conference championship.
I think everything. According to the website. Hold on. Wooden Award criteria. I looked this up yesterday.
I asked ChatGPT and they told me to write to the associations.
Yeah, well, I went to the Wooden Awards actual site, right? And it says on there, candidates should be considered on their performance over the course of the entire season, pre-conference, conference, and tournament play. So I don't know if tournament means just conference tournament or NCAA tournament, but certainly it accounts for some of the postseason.
That's ambiguous. It could be it could be tournament play, just the conference tournament play. I thought all of them were voted on by the end of conference play, before the NCAA tournament. All of them were voted on at that time. So people say that. I heard a podcaster say this. I just want to correct this to people who keep saying it in comments. Oh, if Asia Wilson leads a weak Aces team to championship, she should be the MVP. No, the MVP is voted on at the end of the regular season. Please quit saying that. Quit saying. And one other thing I want to correct. People keep saying that Caitlin Clark has the worst shoe deal of all time. I'm an attorney. I know a little bit about this, and I know a little bit about contracts. Nobody knows what percentage she gets on each shoe deal and each shoe that she sells. And she knows she's going to sell a lot of shoes. I know it's 5% for most people, but right now, everything I found is they have not disclosed the percentage. What if she has a deal of 25%? She could have the best shoe deal of all time.
It's like,
I know they're not promoting. They should be selling shoes by now.
No, I bring this point up all the time. Nobody knows the ins and outs of her contract, for one. And yeah, the percentage could be a huge thing. There's also the precedent at the time. I said this at the time that Nike got a steal, right? Like, because I knew what Caitlin Clark would be. At the same time, no one had ever gotten a deal like Caitlin Clark got from Nike, right? So
no women.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. The precedent that she got was record setting. So to act as if they got like suckered in the deal, I don't know. I'm not a lifelong agent who negotiates these.
I have no opinion until I find out what percentage she gets on the shoe. It's stupid to have an opinion on. That's my personal opinion. How can you? She could have 25% on each shoe and be the best deal in the history of mankind, or she could have a typical 5% like everybody else, and then I think it's a bad deal. So, I just want to correct that. I keep hearing that argument, and I keep seeing these videos on it, and that's absolutely silly. Anyways. Robin, you're welcome on anytime you want.
Thank you for having me. Good conversation. I see a lot of people in the chat who are over on the Robin Lundberg Show on YouTube. You can also catch Women's Fast Break on SI for all the latest women's basketball news. But I appreciate the invite, and I appreciate the discourse, and I'll certainly be back. Did a great job. Thanks you. Thanks a lot. Peace out, as Rob might say. To Pope. All right, so now we know it's Eastern time. The only thing, it did work out in a certain way, because 4 people sometimes can be difficult, but this week people were more polite, I think, than last week necessarily. No. Anyway, I still have lots of questions that could come up. Do you have anything that you specifically it's on your mind and late in the news with related to Caitlin Clark or the NBA that you want to discuss? And the two of them, I can go at it. And I got a bunch of questions. I got like 60 questions written for that. So I got all sorts of questions.
Yeah, I mean, I do think I find it interesting how much the tickets prices cost for Caitlin Clark games.
Oh yeah,
and I'm starting to think now, are they trying to do that to sabotage Caitlin Clark, thinking people if they won't sell out, they won't have to move arenas? How are they sabotaging Caitlin Clark? Because I'm thinking if you see a ticket for $400 for a preseason game, even a person with money that's doing good for themselves, they'd be like, "Oh, that's crazy work. I'm smooth."
It is crazy.
That's crazy work, right? For you know what I mean? That's a half a G
for a preseason game, yeah.
Yeah, for a preseason game on top of it. So then when you start talking about when the heat of the season get going, right? Even the Angel Reese game, Chicago Sky, the Dallas Wings, the Dejanay Carrington, the rivalries that they got, Asia Wilson's versus Caitlin Clark, they're going to try to start overpricing those, maybe even more than $400, $500, just to see, like, will people spend that much? And they probably doubting that they will, but we're going to spend that much. But
I spent $18. By the way,
crazy,
I spent $18 on
that's the highest
t-shirt.
ticket.
I just want to point that out back there. I got a C22 delusional t-shirt. I just got that in the mail.
Nice.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you all good, man. No, I was just thinking about that. I was wondering if anybody else was thinking that, because I already know they do everything they can to sabotage Clark.
I will tell you that I had a feeling Caitlin Clark was coming out her senior year. I thought it was almost for sure, but I didn't buy any tickets or anything. I'm in Philadelphia, so I have to go to Brooklyn to watch a game. I take a bus from Philly to New York or drive there, and they got to take the subway there. I went to one game in New York with my brother, but when I first found out about she might go, I said, gee, maybe I go, let's see how many of the tickets are. So the tickets, before she announced she was going to go pro, was $20. Hours after she announced it, they were $200. $200 just right after she announced she went pro. That's how much they gouged it. Now they eventually came down to like 75 or whatever, because they didn't sell out in New York Liberty. They thought they were going to sell it. They didn't. So I got them for like 75. Plus there was a, stupid fee taxing it. So I ended up paying $100.
And that was at the beginning of the season, right?
That was, no, I didn't buy it until like 3 days before the game because I waited for the prices to come down again. And then I bought them. But they didn't come back down to $20. I think the game didn't sell it. And I think it came down to like worst seats went down to like 60 or 50 or something like that. About the day of the game or something like that. Because they didn't sell out. And I went to the game, the first game against the New York Liberty, I went. And that was that. So I've only seen her play live once, because I live in Philadelphia. I'm hoping Philadelphia gets a team, but they're going to be, they're supposedly next on the list, but who knows when that's going to be. They're already, that might not be 2029 or 2030. So I don't know. Anybody in the audience have a question for DePope and myself? I have more time to look at the thread than I did before when I'm talking to two other people. So let's see if we got any questions.
Yeah, you got a question for me, man. Shoot it, and I gotta get out of here in a little bit too, because
you gotta
some Angel Reese bloopies.
I think that you may have a song, right? If you give it to me, I'll play it next time. If I couldn't find it, what I did a search on the internet and I found you practicing the song in a short, but I didn't actually find the song. So you wrote a song about Caitlin Clark, right?
Yeah,
like a rap song, kind of.
Yeah,
if you send it to me, I'll play it next time you're on.
All right, no problem. So no problem. Yeah.
How long you got?
CC 22 Part 2 come out? All right, beginning of the season. I'm gonna have it come out May 4th. Isn't that the first game, a preseason game? I'm dropping the first preseason game.
I'm not sure. I know May 17th, I think, is their first regular season game. May 17th.
Okay, so yeah, May 17th. That's right. May 17th. That's when CC 22 Part 2. I'm already looking at beats right now.
I'll play it on my video. I'll play it on my video too. Send it to me. I'll play my video and I'll play it on the show next time you're on.
Yeah,
so it's Eastern time now.
yeah.
I didn't have your phone number. I kept looking at my emails, waiting to see if you had a problem getting in or something. I didn't have your phone number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
so yeah, I'm working on that as we speak, man. I'm looking for the beat selection.
I'm hoping to do this twice a week now, anyways. So you can be on. You can be on all you want. So
yeah, maybe I catch the Thursday night one on time if you ain't. You
want to do this Thursday?
Yeah, I check you out Thursday.
I can book you for this Thursday. We're gonna do it. So we're gonna do it for this Thursday. I'm gonna do this twice a week now. That I think Rosalie Lee's gonna be on it. Rob's gonna be on it when he doesn't work. Unfortunately, he's been working on at night, and Rob will be a panel. He's the co-host with me on our show. So Thursday. So here's the problem, just so everybody knows. On Eastern time, 7:00 Eastern time, they have a bunch of Thursday night games at 7:00. So if I do a show from 6 to 7, like I'm doing tonight on a Thursday night, people who do live streams don't have time to get ready to do their live streams because they're the same people that are on my guest panel. So that's why I want to do that I might as well start doing it at 5:30 so people get used to the time. So it'll be 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern time on Thursday. And then
I'll catch y'all in, man. I'm gonna get watching some of this Angel Reese game. So I gotta record the bloopies.
Angel Reese game. She's got a game on the what's it start at 7:30?
Yeah, something like I don't know.
It's 7:16. It starts at 7:30, right?
7:30 Eastern time.
I think so because I think that's why I think Adrian goes live for it.
Okay, good. Have you seen the Marathon Boston Bomber Netflix special?
No, what's it about? Is that
the Boston Marathon, the Bombers, man?
Oh no, they have a new special on Netflix.
Oh, it's wild. It's Wild Bill. Yeah, check it out. It's Wild Bill. It's wild stuff.
Wild stuff. Okay.
Yeah. It's
I haven't had time to watch Netflix yet. So I just got got a cheap version with the commercials for $7 or something like that.
Yeah,
because I don't watch it enough.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. Fuck me up. Excuse my friend, messed me up.
No swearing. No swearing.
Yeah, messed me up. So check out the Bomber, the Marathon, Boston Marathon.
Okay,
people. But yeah, Caitlin Clark, man. Just on another note, I love how she chills. She laid back. We try to get as many stories as we can to create as much as content as we can with Caitlin Clark, WNBA. But it's tough, especially because she like to lay back. She chills. She not out there like that. And we just really got to wait till, season start for everything to really get going, But
okay, do you have any projection on who's going to win the MVP in the WNBA this year and who's going to win the title?
Oh yeah, well, way it looked like it's all Caitlin Clark. Everything looks Caitlin Clark's way, and unless they got an ace under their sleeve or something that I don't know about. But Caitlin Clark having all those scores around her, she gonna end up 22 plus points, 10 plus assists, plus the number one seed type of situation, if not at the least number two, which I'm going with number one seed. But so yeah, with number one seed having a winning record, her numbers is gonna be her numbers. Like I said, 22 plus points, 10 assists, plus good 5-6 rebounds. You're not gonna be able to deny it.
I agree. Lisa G says she wants Rob. Rob's married. Sorry. And I agree with you. My numbers for her are like 22, 10 and a half, 6. And she'll also shoot she'll go up like 4 percentage points. She'll shoot like 0.45% or 0.455%. She'll shoot 38% from threes, 90% from the free throw line again. And I think that she'll just play a lot better with a new coach, just with better players around her in general.
And just that rest.
She get 12 assists. I just don't know if they may have blowouts and she's not going to be in the fourth quarter because I think they have that good a team. And that may keep her numbers down because guess what? Rest her up for the playoffs. You don't have to play her. They were playing like 30, 40 minutes. They need to get down to 34 minutes, 32 if they're blowing people out. You don't need to. That's why they got depth on their team. They don't need her that much.
I think I see. What's so funny is what I don't think people would see for real is I think Caitlin Clark is going to be back to Caitlin Clark that we seen her senior year. Even when she got all these players around her, because Dewana Mama Bonner, that's Dewana Mama Bonner. Natasha Howard, that's Natasha. They long in the tooth. And so they're going to be able to, they're going to be out there for a few minutes and they're going to be headed to the bench. Caitlin going to have to take over. Kelsey Pistol Mitchell, that's her running mate. Those two are going to be the scoring machines. But I think she's going to have the freedom, the comfortability, and the confidence in her teammates. I think Dewana Mama Bonner and them gonna let them know, hey, let them go, let them fly. Don't be shy, let them fly.
When you're two or three people that are the core of their team are that young, it's the veteran leadership can make a difference. I don't want to say it's everything, but it makes a difference. They know what it takes to have the mental toughness for a championship. So I think I think they did a great job, in my opinion.
Show your Caitlin Clark t-shirt, baby. Let me come and walking into our live neither. Say hi to Mark.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, we Clarkies over here, man.
Clarkies? All right.
Yeah, we Clarkies over here.
Clarkies are good. Clarkies are, I think the rational Clarkies are the best sports fans in the world right now.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. And Angel Reese fans are the most delusional fans. Most non-smart.
Watkins are a little bit too
lack of intelligence.
I don't know. I didn't get to this today, but she, I know it's 3-on-3, but she did look better the last few games. Her form was better.
Oh, my lady, good looking out.
Angel Reese.
Oh, okay.
No, Angel Reese looked better. I didn't see your lady before this. I didn't know if she looked better or worse.
Hey, look, man. I'm just being, I gotta be funny.
No, Angel Reese looked better, and I know it's 3-on-3, like I said, but she's been working with Lisa Leslie, which is probably the best thing that's ever happened to her. Lisa Leslie is a mature, older woman, not old, but I think maybe her personality will rub off a little bit on Angel too. And she'll probably give her advice on, you don't always have to do this or play the victim and do this and this. Maybe her personality will improve because I don't like her personality at all whatsoever. Angel Reese. I like Lisa Leslie's personality, obviously. And I think that she's going to improve her form and that's going to help with making the layups and making, everything's going to, her offensive rebounds will go down, but her points will go up and her shooting percentage will go up.
Well, it depends. It depends on how much she want to put in, how much time she want to put in. Repetition is key. You can't just do some once a week for an hour or two and think you're going to be efficient when the time comes. Right now, you can get away with it the little once a week that she says she works out with Lisa Leslie at least once a week. So,
At least once a week.
so you can get away with it 3-on-3. You bigger than people. The switches happen with little guards or little defenders. His own Angel Reese, she able to keep it up high, but it's different when it's a crowd of people in a 5-on-5 setting. Double teams sometimes get in your way. Or Camila Cardoso, she's not one to be at the high post. So if Angel Reese get the ball in the low post, it's going to be a lot of traffic. She's going to have to know how to keep it up high. And if she's not working on that every day, that's going to quickly fade away.
There's some questions about you about your T-shirt. And I don't know what they're saying something about your T-shirts here.
They love my T-shirts, man.
They said, do you have anything special to use Caitlin's image on the T-shirts? And how do we
tell them stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
How do you get those T-shirts? That's what they want to know.
Where did Pope get his? Oh, yeah. No, I make these. Yeah. And that person asking, do I get the listen? Me and Clock like this. I'm a clocky. Didn't you hear what I said? We like this.
You and Caitlin are best buds?
Yeah, we besties. You feel me? So she okay with it. Okay, and I'm okay with it. So you be okay with it and be ready to get it when I put it back on the market. Okay. Okay.
All right. I got you, DePope. All right. So Thursday,
sir. Yeah, I was talking to whoever's in the chat, not you, but yeah, I got you. I got you one. You want one of these? I get you one, Mark. You get you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I
play the song too, Mark. See, hold on,
medium,
Mark. Let me stand up.
Medium, unless
see this here, Mark. You see this here?
Got it.
This is a QR code right there, Mark.
I'll play your. I told you I'll play your song next week on your way out.
Yeah, when you scan that QR code,
before you go promote your channel and anything
video
else,
to the song pop up, Mark.
All right.
The video to the song pop up. You can only get the video to the song if you buy a T-shirt.
I'm no good at rap. I can't rap a sandwich, but I'll still listen to the song.
Mark doesn't know how to use a QR code.
I do too.
Funny word. Mark know how to do a lot.
He's a regular. He just tries to give me a hard time all the time. That's all.
Yeah, they do. Mark. It's all right. It's all right. We'll be back Thursday.
I told you. Look at right there. C22 just came in. I got one for Rob too.
Yeah.
I saw it in Ken Swift's column, and I said, "Oh my God, I got to get one of those T-shirts." So I just came in.
Yeah, shout out to Ken. Ken made the video to the song too. He made the video. Shout out to Ken Swift.
All right. I can't sing. I can dance. I can't sing though. I can't sing at all. Although I don't know if I call rapping singing, but it's music.
It's music, man. It's music. You know what I mean? As long as it's good music, I can vibe too.
5:30 Eastern time on Thursday. DePope will be here we're going to do Caitlin Clark's crossover on Monday nights at 6 and Thursday nights at 5:30 because the games are at 7 pretty soon, and I don't want to have to switch the time later on. So I might as well start them at 5:30.
That's right. Be here, be square.
Because it's a good time for people right now. And there's no games on Monday night. I looked it up. So we'll be probably 6 and 5:30. And
I'll be on time. I'll be on time, people. Okay,
you'll be on time.
It's 4:30 my time.
You won't swear next time.
4:30 my time. I got it.
Okay, you got my email, so send me a link to your song.
All right, we'll do.
And I'll play it in one of my videos, and I'll also play it next time you're on Thursday.
We'll do, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for coming on, DePope.
All right, now, Mark.
I'm going to change my name, too. All right. How about some questions for me from the audience? I got 204 people. We've got to have some intelligent questions out there. Was Bobby in here today? He said he was coming. Warned. All right. Anybody got a question for me? A real question. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie, for the compliment. Rob will be here on the 13th and the 24th. Tuesday. He's working. They need people to close where he works. And I tried to get him to switch to the days. And he's going to be here on the 13th. I don't know what day of the week that is. I think that is a Thursday. And 24th. Let me just see. Yeah, the 24th is a Monday, so he'll be here, and he'll be here on the 13th, and he may be here on other Thursdays too. Juju is an exciting player to you. Yeah, Adrian Ross did not find her exciting. She doesn't show emotion, but her game is pure excitement. I don't know. I don't find her that exciting a player. I think, but she's got a lot of athletic ability. In that sense, it's exciting. So I would say that part of her game is exciting. I don't think she has a lot of flair, I think, is what Adrian was saying. That she looks bored sometimes out there, but not recently. Not since the USC first game. She looks like a different person. I think it's obvious the pressure got to her, and that's the media's fault and all that kind of stuff. She's only 19 years old. They tried to do something to her that just wasn't fair. I think she's relaxed now. She's just going to be herself and play. Great talent. I'm not putting her down. I think she's got unbelievable potential. Thank you, David, for the compliment. So if you got ideas for questions, you can put them in the chat. I read the chat later on. Last time I read the whole chat, all 3 hours of the chat. My email is on top of the channel. You go there. My email's there. And you can email me suggested questions that you want asked. Now that I got a show 2 times a week, I can get through to a lot of questions. I got 60 questions written. I only get to like 5 of them because everybody talks a lot. So I'll do that. If you have any questions today, right now, I'll discuss them. I'd rather see Hannah Stokey than Juju. Hannah Stokey needs to play with Caitlin Clark again. She's not playing as well this year as I thought she was going to play. Her shooting percentage is not as high. Anyways, so let's see. Juju doesn't like when she's having fun. She's playing. That's why it's boring. Yeah, I agree, Vonda. That's what I think Adrian was saying. She looks bored, so it makes you bored. You know, Caitlin Clark looks like she's having fun playing. Hannah Hidalgo looks like she's having a lot of fun playing. Yeah, sorry, no, I don't know what to say. I'm pretty convinced that's exactly what Caitlin Clark meant about white privilege in basketball. That she wanted to say, no, my basketball, I got it all myself. It wasn't because I was white, but in real life, outside of the basketball court, maybe I have a little bit of privilege because I'm a white. That's all I think she was saying. But Adrian Ross thinks differently. Everyone has a different perspective. You can make your own decision. I think unless I sat down with Caitlin Clark and asked her about 5 questions to clarify it, I don't think we'll ever have an answer. But I don't want to get too political. Can you get Gino, Staley, and Swoops on the next panel? I would like to. I don't know if I'll get anybody that big yet. I think unless you guys make this a big show, then everybody's going to want to be on it. So we're not quite huge yet. We had 400 people almost today, right? And we had almost 500 last time and 5,000 views. And I'd like to get it, a lot more than that. And so, but we just started out. This is only our second show, so it's going to take a while. But yeah, I invited, what was her name? I forgot her name. She has like 780,000 listeners. So she's tough to get on. But anyways, I will try to do my best to get all the Caitlin Clark podcasters. I don't mind putting a hater on if they want to be in the dumpster fire and, with 3 other people, attacking them for their dumb views. I have no problem putting a hater on, but I don't think they're going to want to be on this show. So, but I'll put them on. So, yeah. If that's what you got, if you guys have any connections, go ahead. It's not so easy. It's not. Sometimes people have their emails hidden or they have business emails. They don't check them. I reached out to Ben Daniels and Chicks Dig Scar Podcast. I don't even know his name because he never says his name. They're invited if they're here tonight. Love to have them on the show. Fly Hippie, love to have them on the show. They didn't respond to their emails, so I don't know what to say. Some people don't check their business emails, like I said. They just have emails because they're required to have one with the YouTube channel. The ball dropping guy, he's crazy. I don't know who that is. Definitely get the ball dropping guy. He's crazy. Oh yeah, there's a Venom Reacts. I think I tried to leave him a message. I sent an email to, what's her name? How do you pronounce her name? Quita? I don't know what her name is. I sent an email to her. I don't know what to say. Bye, Lisa. Thanks for coming. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't think these people check the business emails that they put up on their channel. I think they're just emails to have them. So I don't know if, and then if they don't follow you on X, you can't leave them a private message. So I've been leaving like comments like on X, and I don't know if they see them. So yeah, so you can reach out to them. My email is not hidden. It's on the top of my channel. Anyone that you want on the show, you can try to contact them. I've been working on it for like a week and a half. Spent a lot of time trying to get it. Posted messages. I have left messages on their channels too. So I don't know what to say. Sometimes people are so popular, they have so many messages, they don't read all their messages. But they're all free to come on. Anyone who's supporting Caitlin Clark is doing a good job that I've seen. None of them are doing a poor job. So I'm willing to have them on. So I'll try again, but that's what I got right now. So we're changing our live show it was 6 to 8. I'm going to do it from 6 to 8:30, so we can do this live show a little bit. I don't know. DePope didn't see the Eastern time, and I put EST in big cap letters with the time. And he was here last week. How could he not know it was from 6 to 7? He was in the crowd last week on the panel. How did he not know it was 6 to 7? That's too funny. Yes, I told you Rob's going to be in the show on the 13th. That's the next time he tells me he's off on Monday and Thursday. Yes, this Thursday I'll have a show. The Pope will be here. And I'll have at least a couple people. It'll be a half hour early, okay? So it'll be 5:30 Eastern, because I don't want to change the time again when the season starts, and I won't be able to do it from 6 to 7, and people have live streams, and they can't get to the Caitlin Clark game at 7. They won't have any time. So I will put that on. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have Rob on the show. We talked about it today, so we'll find out. He used to work on TV. Who are you talking about, Nuke? Who used to work? Who's he? He's unbiased, knows college hoops. Who's he? I don't know who you're talking about. Brandon Blakeney. I don't know who he is. I never heard of him. Let me look him up. Right. What is he? Does he have a YouTube channel? Brandon Blakeney. All right, Blakeney. All right, I'll look him up. Give me a second. Anybody wants to be on the show can be on the show. That has some kind of intelligence. Brandon. I found Brandon Blakeney. Let's see if he has one subscriber. His channel doesn't have anything. How do I find out? He's got one subscriber. He has a channel. Yeah, I would have Mick on the show. He might be tough to shut up, but and his opinion's going to change. Like, 5 minutes in, it's going to be different than it will be at 35 minutes in. He's going to contradict himself by the end of the show. He seems like a good guy. I just don't like how he keeps changing his opinions and having clickbait titles all the time. I don't like that about him, but he knows basketball. He has a lot of opinions. Yeah, I know. His time zone is going to be, I think it's 5 or 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. So it would be late for him. But I get the impression he has strange sleeping habits anyways, judging from I've seen him. I don't think he sleeps much. That's what that way. It's 5 hours. Yeah, he's Irish is 5 hours. So he would be 11 o'clock at night. It's not that bad for a young guy. He can handle it. Preseason game. His main is Brandon Lee TV. All right, let me look it up. Brandon Lee. All right. Let me listen. Give me some time to listen to some videos. Simply ball dropping. Is that some simply ball dropping? All right, let me look that up. I know. I've never heard of that one. Simply ball dropping. Okay. I'll check them out later. Simply ball dropping hates CC? Is that who you're talking about? Oh, it's okay. I mean, I would have him on. I'm telling you. I mean, like we didn't agree on a lot, even though we're all Kate and Clark fans here, Dave. But we would disagree even more. People like, you're disagreeing. Like Rob and I agreed too much. I told him. I said, Rob, go ahead, disagree with me all you want. I said, we agree too much on our videos. Holla at Awful Coaching. Yeah, they put out good videos. Awful Coaching, some of them. Is that the guy that does the analysis? Let me see. I don't know. Does he Awful come to YouTube? Let me just see. Is that the guy that yells into the camera and then evaluates the Fever games and Caitlin Clark? Is that his name? I don't know what his name is. He seems to know basketball. He dissects the film. So, yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, I don't know what his background is. He seems to know basketball, though. I don't know why he feels the need to scream into the camera for, 15 straight minutes. So, anyways, what's a 170-20 BP? I don't know what that means. What's 170-120 BP? I don't know. Yeah. All right. Brandon Lee. Okay. Anybody else? You guys want to let me know? I'll try. Okay, that was a question. I'm sorry, I missed some questions here earlier. How do you think the refs will call Fever games this season? CC got screwed. That's like, Marlon, are you still here? I'll respond to that. Marlon Hill, are you still here? You have a question about the refs. I didn't see it till I scrolled back and looked at some. I can respond to that about the refs. I think they'll get a better call because they'll have a better coach. And nothing can be as bad as last year. Caitlin Clark got the worst whistle in the history of basketball. We talked about that last Monday. Most of you know if you were on the show. And everybody seems to agree she got the worst whistle in the history of basketball. And it can't be worse than that. It has to be better. I think they'll give her a break a little bit more. The refs, they'll chill a little bit. They still won't get a good whistle. And they'll get they'll get a better whistle because they respect the coach more and the coach will get in their face more. Christy Sides was terrible at trying to influence the refs. So we'll see what happens. So Charlie, is that his name? The guy that yells all the time on awful coaching? Angel Reese said Caitlin Clark get a special. Angel Reese gets a good whistle, especially for a rookie. And I don't like that rookie rule at all, but she gets a good whistle. You watch her in that game that the Fever lost to the Sky. Alyssa Smith is not a good defender, but Angel Reese charged, and Alyssa Smith got charged for foul. She went over the back of Alyssa Smith. No foul call on Angel Reese. She got a special whistle in that game. That's the reason. If they had just given us the Fever a fair whistle, the Fever would have won that game. They only lost by like one point, right? Angel Reese, she's a great rebounder, but she's physical down there, and she pushes and shoves people and hip checks people and stuff, and she doesn't get called for fouls. Doc Rivers going to make AC stroke out. I don't understand that comment. What's that mean? I don't understand that. I don't understand 170/120 BP, Charlie. What does that mean? Blood pressure? Oh, I see blood pressure. Okay. Walks around with a 170, 120. Oh, BP. Okay, sorry. I should have got that. All right. That's high. How can you yell for 15? Isn't your voice lost? Like you can't do another video for like a week if you're, I don't know how you have a voice left. That's just strange to me. Anyways. Yeah, especially Angel Reese is delusional. Asia Wilson gets a great whistle. I talked about this before. You saw that game, the first game. I said I mentioned this last week on the show. I'll repeat myself just because you brought it up. First game against, I think it was the second time they played, but it was in the second half of the season. They were going to play them 2 times in 1 week. It was against the Aces. And Caitlin Clark was getting MVP talk. And I thought she was playing great too. And Asia Wilson was already anointed. We all know that. But Caitlin Clark had momentum, not necessarily with the mainstream media, but with other people. And if they were going to play them twice in a week, and if Caitlin Clark had 2 great games and Asia Wilson had 2 subpar games and the Fever beat the Aces twice, there was going to be some serious MVP talk for Caitlin Clark. Well, the refs weren't having that. Aaliyah Boston had 6 fouls within 2 minutes, and Asia Wilson had no fouls whatsoever. And they got a great foul, they got a great whistle, the Aces, and the refs made sure the Aces won that game, and that Asia Wilson looked good. There's no question in my mind that that was going on in that particular game. They showed replays and it's phantom fouls against Aaliyah Boston. They see her getting fouled by Asia Wilson on a replay. No foul called. Sorry. I'm not a conspiracy person, but I know what I saw that game. And it wasn't 6 fouls to 0. So, yeah, Asia Wilson gets a special whistle. Juju Watkins gets a good whistle, and so does Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark, no. Refs don't like her. She gets too much attention. Everybody's jealous and envious of her, and they're afraid to show any favoritism towards her. some people say it's, she complains too much. Well, if you were getting the worst whistle in the history of basketball, wouldn't you complain too? How could you keep it in for that long? I don't know. I don't think I could do that. At age 22, let's see you keep it in for that long. I don't even know if I could keep it in now. Keep my emotions in now if I got the worst whistle in the history of basketball. So, anyways. Any other questions? Let's see. AR said, I saw that one. Okay. If you want to donate, there's super chats and super thanks down below. Thanks for anybody that donated earlier. I was engrossed in the conversation. I didn't see it. I might not have seen them. Ken Swift. So anyways, Ken Swift did the video. Did you guys see the video in the beginning? I'll play that again if you want. Let's just see. I take no credit for that. That's Ken Swift. Check out his X column, the best column on Caitlin Clark in the world is Ken Swift. So anyway, did you guys like that? He came up with our name. He made the video for us. He's a great guy. Yeah, I think I was going to call it Caitlin Clark Spotlight. You know, it's kind of a generic, boring name, but I thought that, said what the show is about. And I said, I'm going to call it Caitlin Clark Spotlight unless you can think of a better name. And he came up with Caitlin Clark Crossover in like 2 seconds. So I said, all right, that's a better name. So we got that. Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown. That was an agreement between Rob and myself. We had a few other ideas, but we like Showdown. I think it was Mark and Rob's Sports Spotlight was an idea at the time. I don't remember what the names I was considering. But I like Showdown. Ken Swift doesn't want to be on. He likes to be incognito. So I asked him already if he wanted to be on. He doesn't want to be on. So I did invite him. Why is Doc Rivers going to make AC stroke out? So we concluded. Well, I concluded that. I thought I made a convincing argument. I didn't see a lot of pushback after I made those arguments. But maybe they were just saying, well, they already said their piece. And so what do you guys think Taurasi's the GOAT of the WNBA? I don't know. Yeah, she's just an old GOAT. We get the joke. It's a good joke for him. But anyway, I just don't see it. I just don't have to say you can call someone with one MVP and know all defensive teams that played 20 years. That's not much of an accomplishment. I don't give longevity awards out. Yeah, Robin said he is for now, but he didn't convince me. He didn't make a convincing argument, I thought, but it's okay. He likes Donna Taurasi. I do not like Donna Taurasi, but I think I'm objective about her. I said I'd put her in my top 5. I just those numbers tell me she's not the GOAT. That's what I'm saying. Oh, awful coaching screams at Doc Rivers. Oh, really? Doc Rivers is the only coach that's lost 3 series where his team was up 3-1. Keeps getting jobs. He won a championship with the Celtics, but they were stacked, 3 bigs. They had 3 big guys, three big-time players. That's why he won a championship. He's probably overrated as a coach. Oh, there goes my T-shirt. Uh-oh. Just fell down. I put it up just because it should avoid this. Let's see if that works. I just got that the other day. I figured people want to see it. I forgot what the name of the place is that I got it at, but you can find it on. I just put it up real quick. I forgot all about it, and then I didn't have much time to put it up, so I just stuck tape up there real quick just to put it up there. It just came in. I gotta, it's wintertime. Maybe I should wear it tomorrow for videos. Rob, we couldn't do a video today. This other video that we put out today was recorded before because Rob had no internet for like 24 hours. It's called Cox. That's the name of the video. That's the name of their Wi-Fi company. So last I knew, when he was going into work, he still didn't have Wi-Fi. So he didn't have it for almost 24 hours at least. So hopefully tomorrow morning he'll have a video. He'll have Wi-Fi so we can do a video. And we'll see what happens. Let's just see how our videos are doing. The power of the electric panel would not be denied at airtime. No, the electric panel is powerful. It is. So anyway, no one wants to have an opinion on whether Taurasi is the GOAT or not. Come on, you guys are all opinionated. Here are your choices: GOAT, top 5, or top 10. So let's do a poll. Is Diana Taurasi the GOAT? Is she top 5 or is she top 10? So top 5 would be 2 through 5, and top 10 would be 6 through 10. What do you guys think? Or don't you care because it's Diana Taurasi and not Caitlin Clark? Yeah, I know she won 3 titles. Angel Reese said that also, that she won 4 state championships in high school. Her team did, and she won 4 state championships. So those are your choices: top 10, top 5, or number 1 for a WNBA for Diana Taurasi. We all know Caitlin Clark's going to be better than her. NBA top 5. Yeah. My opinion is she's top 5 in the WNBA, but not number 1 for sure. College, top 10, but not number 1 for sure. That's why we put Diana Taurasi. Oh, Candace Parker's certainly up there. If you want me to show you those, do you guys want to see those numbers again? This was the MVP shares that I figured out. I could put them up there for you if you want, and you can talk about them. Let's see what I got to do. I gotta put them back on my Google Docs. Let's see. Where are we? MVP shares. So those were the MVP shares. What I gave him 5 points for an MVP. I gave him 3 points for second place, 2 points for third, and 1 point for fourth. And I totaled up their MVP shares for their career. And then in the right-hand column is how many times they made an all-defensive team. And those are the rankings. Now, Deladonna, Maya Moore only played 8 full seasons, and Cynthia Cooper only played 4 full seasons. So they were at a disadvantage. in terms of those things. Everybody else had a longer, I think 10 years or more. Catching's 12 times all defensive team. 12 times. That's like every year. Let me see how many years she actually played in the WNBA. I figured that out too. Let's see. 14 and a half seasons or so. So 14 full seasons. She made 12 out of 14 times she made an all defensive team. Nafisa Collier is she won Defensive Player of the Year. I think people are going to agree with you on that one. Lisa. She did. Lisa in Cult Jam. She did. Oh, Lisa. Oh, I wrote Lisa. I can't believe I wrote that. I like Lisa Leslie. What are you talking about, Lisa? It says Lisa Leslie. I hope I didn't get any of the names wrong. The other ones are right. I hope. Lisa and Cult Jam. I remember they had a couple good hit single dance songs. So I don't know how I got Lisa in there, but anyways. So the Pope doesn't know what Eastern time zone is, I guess. I don't know. He didn't say where he was from. I don't know where he lives. I know Adrian is from the Central, but she was able to figure out the correct time. I'm in Philadelphia, so I'm in Eastern time zone. So Taurasi is not accepting her own mind, just like her three. She won 3 titles by herself. Yes. So we'll see. We'll see at the end of Caitlin Clark's career what people are saying. I will say that I think there's a really good chance she's going to be seen as the GOAT. Really good chance. I think she'll win several WNBA titles and several MVPs. And I'd be very surprised if she doesn't get both of those. I bet she'll be the first player in history to win 5 WNBA MVPs. And I bet she'll get 5 titles too, because she's going to attract free agents, which means she's going to have a good team and she's going to be the best player. So how does that not translate to titles? Sorry. I know they're going to say she had a stacked team. They won't give her any credit, but they complain when she didn't have enough talent and she didn't win a title. So now when she has enough talent to make it fair, they're going to complain again. So anyways. Oh, she'll be on every Olympic team till she's Diana Taurasi's age. You kidding me? They won't keep her off anymore. That's not going to happen. They know it was a mistake. Everybody except for ESPN knows it was a mistake. Except for the women on ESPN knows it's a mistake. And even they know it was a mistake. They just won't admit it. You have a drink with Andrea Carter and Chini Agumake and what's the other woman on the team? That she's the one that actually told me about Kate Clark, not those two. Carolyn Peck, right? Carolyn Peck, Elle Duncan. If you got those women drunk and you said, "Do you really think Caitlin Clark should be in the Olympic team?" They go, "Oh yeah, we got to stick up for the sisters." you know that if you got them drunk, and you got them to admit down below. But they're not going to admit it publicly. No, because their credibility. Yeah, you lost your credibility as soon as you made the dumb arguments that you made. So that's my opinion. I don't know, it's just Diana Taurasi did not belong in that Olympic team. So but Adrian Ross was adamant about that too. I think it was, but Robin, he didn't have a problem with the legacy career thing. I have a big problem with it. I go, why are we taking a spot away from young talent that you got to go to the future? That's what Adrian said. You got to have young talent on so they have experience in the next Olympics. You take a spot away from someone else. I don't know. That was awful that she was on the team. I'm sorry. And same thing with Chelsea Gray, who was hobbled. She played a little better than Diana Taurasi, but not much. She didn't shoot well. She was they were both liabilities on defense at the Olympics. Everybody saw it. When I watched anyway, since I didn't watch very much. Season-wise, it worked out. But, it would have been exciting to see her play with, the 11 other best players in the league. It would have been exciting. I don't know if they're all really 11 other best players, but close to the 11 other best players in the league. Because Enrique's probably up there. And so Nanique also made second team All-Pro. But it would have been nice to see him play with them and to see how good she is with the better the players that play with her. You're going to see that this year. You're going to see people are underestimating Caitlin Clark. Her ability to make teammates better is so much greater than anybody else in women's basketball history, that once she has players around her that are talented like she does this year, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but I was spot on with my predictions last year. I didn't overstate it. I didn't overpredict it. So I hope I don't overstate it this year, because, then they'll say, yo, you're a stan or something like that. Good point, Nuke. Nuke Rockney, is that your name? She was on some haters on her team. I don't know, but some of them just weren't good. Like the coach was just against you. How do you play when the coach is against you? When the coach is incompetent? That must have been so frustrating. She must have had nightmares the whole season because of Coach Sides. How did Coach Sides get that job? How did she keep the job for 2 years? She couldn't even call a timeout properly. I didn't coach, but I was captain of Frisbee teams because I played for 40 years. And we didn't have coaches so the captain was kind of like the coach. And I thought the easiest thing in the world was to know when to call a timeout when you needed it. Just from playing sports, you could feel the momentum. You just call a timeout. You feel when momentum is bad for you, you call a timeout. It's not even hard. She couldn't even figure that out. She couldn't figure out basic things like that. She couldn't drop a play at the end of the game. She couldn't get in the ref's face. So, yeah. Well, Coach Reeves, forget it. Yeah, I think her name is Reev, right? Coach Reeves. Is it Reeves? Yeah, Cheryl Reeve, right? She's a hater. No, she hated Caitlin Clark, but then she finally admitted that Caitlin Clark was a big influence on the thing. So that's pretty good. But yeah, she helped keep Caitlin Clark off the team. Let's be honest. We know who kept her off the team. There's 6 people in the committee, including the president. We know that Dawn Staley, even though she wasn't on the U.S. Olympic Committee, had a say, which makes no sense to me. I don't remember someone else having a say outside the committee in past Olympics. But she had a say. That was 7. The coach, I don't have a problem with the coach having some say and some influence. I just have a problem with her influencing not to have Caitlin Clark on the team. So that's 8. And you also had Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and Diana Taurasi didn't want Caitlin Clark on the team either, because Caitlin Clark was going to get all the attention. And Diana Taurasi wanted her 6th gold medal, and she doesn't want Caitlin Clark to have 6 gold medals. Now you know Caitlin Clark can't get 6 gold medals because she's getting too old for the 6 gold medals, because she didn't get one when she was 22 like Diana Taurasi did. So is the committee 6 people? Because I thought I did a video of the 10 people, evil witches that kept her off the team. But is the committee 6 or 5? because Taurasi Don Staley is officially not on the team. Let me look that up. How many? I thought it was 6. How many people are on the U.S.? Olympic basketball. So I thought it was 6. No, this is 15. This is wrong. That selected the Olympic team. No, that's not right either. I'm saying it's Don Staley wasn't on the Olympic committee. ChatGPT is wrong. Let's see. Yeah. I know that's not right. Taurasi come out of retirement. Yeah. Yeah, I know Staley was. I know she was coach, but that's irrelevant. She wasn't. She's not on the. She's not officially on the committee. She wasn't listed as committee member. She just somehow had an influence on the, even though she wasn't a committee member. I'm flabbergasted by that. So I'm having problems. ChatGPT is wrong on this one. So I know what it is. Who were the U.S. Olympic basketball committees that selected the women's Olympic basketball team? Yeah, okay. So there was 5 members. Simone Augusta, Talisha Milton-Jones, Bethany Donovan, Dan Padover, and Jennifer Rosati. I don't think Dawn Staley was on the team, even though the ChatGPT says it was. Let's see what this article says. Now it's saying it was, but I don't know. Well, anyways, who are those people? That's what I said. We don't know if all of them voted the same way. Some of them could have voted to have Caitlin Clark on the team. They could have just been outvoted. But if they voted against Caitlin Clark being on the team and Diana Taurasi on, they all should have, and Chelsea Gray on, they should have been fired. This is the biggest mistake they've ever made. So, originally I read she wasn't on the committee. She was just part of the decision-making process, even though she was on the committee. But now it's listed as her being on the committee. Maybe it's because they since she had an influence, they finally decided, oh yeah, she's really on the committee. Because I don't remember her being listed on the committee originally. So, but maybe I was wrong. I thought she was just part of the decision-making process without officially being on the committee. But I guess I was wrong. I swear, but yeah, I did do a video on 10 people. So, and there had 3 players, and I also had, Jennifer Rosati, that was actually the head of the committee. But it doesn't matter. I don't know if she gets any more. I think they all get 1 vote. So, Don Staley was upset that Caitlin Clark beat him in an undefeated team, and was still bitter about that. No, I found the link that says she was on the committee, but I thought when the selection process came out and I saw the list of the 5 people on the committee, she wasn't one of the 5, but she was listed as a person that had influence on it. So, but now I'm reading that she was part of a 6-member committee. So I guess I misunderstood it. And so I don't know. I can't wait for May 17th. That's all I know. Can't wait for it. How far away are we now? What is this? This is March 3rd. So we got some days yet. We still have some days left. We got 28 plus 17, right? May 17th, and April is what, 30? 75 days. 75 days to the first game. We should start counting down. Dan Taurasi will be a commentator on ESPN. I would have no doubt that if she wants it, she'll get a job. And she'd probably be very good. So even though I don't like her, I'm not sure she'll come across as likable, but I don't think she was likable to begin with. But that doesn't mean she couldn't be likable broadcasting. If she's objective, she knows basketball. So she could be really good. Rebecca Lobo is very good, except for when Caitlin Clark got hit by Kennedy Carter. She just remained quiet for 2 minutes and didn't even say, hey, maybe this is a flagrant one. The next day she pretended it was an obvious flagrant one. Where were you? Where were you when we saw it the first time? I went back and watched that, and I played it, and it was like the last 2 minutes of the third quarter, and then I played beginning of the fourth quarter, and she never said it should be a flagrant one. She didn't say anything. She was quiet, and Ryan Rocco, whatever his name is, kept saying, maybe that's a flagrant one. Maybe they should review it. She wasn't saying anything. It was her job to say anything. And she really dropped the ball on that because normally she's very good. I don't know what her hesitation was, but I would love to interview her on that. Then she pretended people didn't hear her not say anything. And the next day she says, oh, yeah, it was an obvious flagrant one. Yeah, why didn't you say that night? So we'll see. She's good. Doesn't do objective, so she'll fit right in. She might be objective when she does broadcasting. I don't know. I mean, she's got I'm sure she'll have her own little biases, but she might not be as bad as the women that are on. She can't be any worse than the women that are on now. So she can't be less objective than them. So that's for sure. That's a slam dunk. So yeah, I don't know. Jay Billis. I mean, you might not like him because he's from Duke, but people don't like Duke. I like Duke. So Jay Billis is objective. So, but he does men's. So he's excellent. Jay Billis. Jay Williams is an idiot, in my opinion. But Jay Billis is excellent broadcaster. But he's one of the few ones at ESPN that you go, wow, that's a good broadcaster. Ryan Rocco, he does good play-by-play. I don't have a problem with him. He doesn't say anything stupid. He doesn't say anything anti-Caitlin Clark. He doesn't like fawn over other players to try to make Caitlin Clark not look good or anything like that. He doesn't, he'll just call it like it is. So I see him as a fair. His job is just to do play-by-play. He doesn't have to do a lot of commentary, which he does a good job of. So that's why I didn't like Sides and Dunn brought in that coach consultant, because he coached with Team USA along with Rosati and Staley. Whatever. I mean, people have connections in this business, so what are you going to do? Is he good at his job? That's really all that matters, right? That's all that matters, is good at his job. So, and I think he's, it's, from what people say, he's good at his job. He looked good doing the videos. You don't know. People hire him because he must have a good reputation. So anyway, I don't know. You're going to get rid of them, which the Fever did. Well, at least until they sign the Twitter crew. What does that mean? I don't understand, Vadim. Who's them? I don't understand. What they have to do with the Twitter crew? The two players who like to hate tweet on CC fans. Oh. Which two players? Oh, Colson and Turner. Yeah, we talked about them in the show. I mean, they didn't seem to think Colson was that big a deal. So, but Colson did that one hate thing towards Monica Cesano. Is that how you pronounce her last name? Looking like a guy. I think it looked like Gary Busey, I think, but Brianna Turner. Yeah, we'll see. She doesn't cause a problem in the locker room. They did need some more defense and some more height. So seemed like a logical pickup in terms of talent-wise. She's a very good defender. You got someone who's hot and is in the post, and you need someone to shut him down. Stick her in. Other games you don't need somebody. You need some offense. You put in Dantas. That gives you versatility. I like it. I like the pickup strategy-wise. They know what they needed. These women that are running the show aren't dumb. Lynn Dunn. I always get it mixed up. Is it Lynn Dunn or Liz Dunn? I have this mental block with her. Her and Christy Sides were just clueless. They had, I mean, what they had in Caitlin Clark was so obvious what to do with her. And yet they couldn't figure it out. They were so old school. Like, seriously, you can't see that this offense that she wanted to run was better than 50 touches in the paint when you don't have any good post players? Oh, that was so dumb. They're so dumb. I don't even think, I wonder if Dunn would have drafted Caitlin Clark if it wasn't that she knew she couldn't get away with it. She'd draft some other, like a big person or something, a big. If she had it, she would have drafted Cameron Brink. I bet you. If there wasn't, Caitlin Clark was so popular, she would have made like the biggest mistake since Michael Jordan being drafted third. I have a feeling she would have. I don't know. It would have been really strange to do that, to turn down the 2-time player of the year, but I just get the feeling she didn't really want her there. Christy Sides didn't want her there. She was afraid Caitlin Clark was going to get the attention for the team doing well. That's all I know. Anyway. That Olympic snub will age so poorly. It's so poorly. People will look back at it and say, wow. What Paul Pierce made a great line. He said, it's the biggest ball drop since New Year's. Oh, there goes my t-shirt falling down. Yeah, it made the committee look and the coach look awful, just awful and petty and corrupt. And, and it made Taurasi look bad. And, Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart, they wanted the attention because they were considered the 2 best players. So they felt they should get the attention. So they didn't want her on either. Plus, she didn't go to UConn. She didn't go to South Carolina. She's not in the sorority. Can't have her on the team. Oh. Yeah, the league would have grown quicker if she was on the team. It would have grown internationally more. Now they had to wait 3 more years now for the international growth to really grow as quickly as it could have. Because people are still finding Caitlin Clark because of YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But a lot more people would have found her in the Olympics. And internationally, it hurt the WNBA. And they need every viewer. I mean, they're not going to come in the seats, but viewership gives them a lot of money. So, with nowadays, people can watch things overseas sometimes, and stream things and things of that nature. And they cost themselves viewership, which costs them money, and they don't see it because they were so petty. And it's a real shame, but it's over with. Caitlin Clark ended up playing really well after the Olympic break because she did need a break. I still wanted her on the team. Cheryl Swoops and Angel Reese. What about them? Oh, they're in the sorority also. So, what's on the docket for the next crossover? Oh, Cheryl Swoops and Angel Reese. I'm still trying to get commitment from people. So we'll see. Let me just see. I know the Pope's back. I think AK said Mondays was better for him at, so I gotta call him, but he'll be back on. I didn't hear back from Rudy. I emailed him today, so we'll find out. Robin seemed to have a good job. He did. I knew he would do a good job too. He did an excellent job. Adrian Ross again did an excellent job, and I knew she would. So I had a great panel. I don't know why DePope didn't see the Eastern time when he was in the crowd last week. How could he not see the proper time? I'll have to tease him about that, because I saw his name in the thread there. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, I knew Robin would do a good job. He was very common sense type of an analysis. I don't agree with him on Taurasi yet, but it made for good discussion, so I brought it up. Really? How's he been pissing you off? He's, most of the time he's very level-headed, so that's why I like him. He's smart, he's knowledgeable, and so is Adrian. So yeah, I was really happy with the panel. 3's a little easier than 4. I was just trying to imitate the sports reporters. I think 4. Anyways. So we had more people on. We had less people on than last week, but we still had a good turnout. It was close to 400, I think. I didn't see the exact numbers. I was paying attention to the guests speak. So it's hard to look at the thread when you got 2 guests speaking and then you're doing other things. And sometimes you want things to put up on the screen and all that kind of stuff. NBC must see TV. I think I'll get a Kate and Clark poster and put it over that electrical outlet. The CT comments. Oh, he didn't like his comments? I don't know. I didn't agree with Adrian Ross, but, can't agree on everything. I just don't see it. She's saying both can't be true. I said that's because she wasn't saying both were true. She was saying one's for, society and one's for basketball. So she wasn't really contradicted herself. But she doesn't see it that way. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it doesn't make any sense to me logically. Robin wasn't agreeing. I know Rob doesn't agree with her on this because Rob and I have talked about this in our videos, and Robin didn't agree with her either. But I don't know about other people. But it's okay. I don't want to agree with everything the guests say. It's no fun. You gotta disagree. You guys don't want to hear we all agree on everything. That'd be a boring show. I was like, Rob wanted Juju Watkins as player of the year before she started playing great. And we just agreed on that. That was good. I didn't agree with him. I didn't think she had played well enough before the 2 UCLA games, but she has recently. So I like Hannah O'Donnell, but she got cold at the wrong time. But I don't think I just got the feeling those people wanted Juju Watkins. They were just looking for excuses to vote for her. And yeah, so it was no surprise to me that, I don't even know how many, they said that it was unanimous. They didn't say how many people were on the committee. It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 20, it could be 100. They just said there was a committee at the Atlantic. They didn't say how big the committee was. So unanimous could be 3. The committee could be 3 people. I don't know how many votes is out of how many votes, but so we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to end the show. It's 8:33, and we'll see you Thursday night at 5:30. Okay, I don't think, and then I'll probably do some live streams for the conference championships when there's good matchups. All right, so thanks for showing up today, everybody. I appreciate your support, and we'll see you on Thursday night, 5:30 Eastern time to 6:30. And then I'll stick around another half hour after that to, as part of the, live show for people want to comment on the panel and stuff like that. So I say, let's do 5:37 on Thursday night. And I'll list it on the website and I'll put it in our videos. Check out our new video today. It's about the Olympic snub by King and Clark. Please support that. And Robin and I are going to be recording at least 1 or 2 videos tomorrow when he has internet again, and we'll put some out tomorrow. So check them out. All right. So good night, everybody. Take care. And I appreciate your support.